Hello, chat. We're here. We're getting started soon.
Some anime clips.
You mean Japanimation?
Japanimation, bro.
Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the animations means cartoons?
It's Afghanistanimation.
Shit.
All right. I am going to do a few things. Make sure we're good to start here. That's good.
Are we good? Are we good? Oh, I forgot. I had to record this.
Yeah, don't forget about recording.
I didn't forget. I honestly have no idea why I didn't record. It's the broadcast. It's working in this right now on OBS. The mic bus that I'm using is the one that was set up for fucking. I don't know. I'm very frustrated by that. Because I'm like, I don't even know what to do to fix it.
It's fine. The local recording.
Yeah, but
good, so.
It's just annoying. I'm like, I'm gonna have to fix this now for next time.
Oh yeah, I know. It annoys you the same way tech stuff annoys me.
Yes,
Don't worry, I understand.
It drives me crazy. Hate when stuff doesn't work. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
That
ready.
is good. Let's test that music. All right. You guys hear that?
Yeah. This shit.
Yep.
I guess I think I just got a tweet. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I didn't.
You remember to
Just
tweet.
tweet.
You're on top of it today.
Yeah.
Wow. Good on you.
Yeah.
You are so
Oh, man.
smart.
Chris, are you dying?
No. What am I doing? That's anything weirder than I used?
I don't know. You seem like you're in a good mood, and it scares me.
I
Like, did some foreign dignitary die today or something? Like, why is he in a good mood?
God.
I wish. No, I'm never positive. Always negative, brother. I feed on hatred.
Yeah, we know.
Negative
That's a
emotions
Christian, I know.
only.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
that
one more
was
drink
good.
while you finish settling.
Yep,
stuff.
no
You don't
problem.
wish death upon people. That's not cool.
There's that. I think I'm ready.
I became a man the day I started wishing death upon my enemies.
Uh-oh, what did I do?
I think Christian's dying.
I like this
I think
character.
he's dying.
I like this character. Internet Christians just log in with the hot takes, brother.
Oh, man.
You watch the show? You watch the Colombo?
I did watch the Columbo.
Hey.
So we can do that. We'll record that after this.
All right.
That was a good episode. That fucking ruled, actually. We'll talk about
you know
that.
what? I haven't watched.
Well, it's good.
Sometimes I watch it so I pay attention to the podcast, but
I think you'll enjoy
forget
this
the
one.
time.
All right. I think I am good to go. Mike, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Does feel like I'm
All right,
forgetting
let's
something,
do
but
this
that's
shit.
just probably my stupid brain. Yeah, we're good.
It's
I think you're
okay.
good.
I think we're good. All right.
We'll figure it out.
Starting in 5, 4, 3. It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the Game Mess Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything about the world of games so you never have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeffrey Grubb. With me is
Mike Minotti.
in today's episode, Sinuous sacrificed some frames for quality because it runs at 30. PlayStation State / Showcase soon, maybe. And Gear 6, with apologies, Gear 6. Mike, first, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm okay. probably spending too much time on Twitter, but I'm fine.
Yeah, I was having one of those days too, where I was like, I tweeted like 5 times back to back really fast, mostly because I was pooping. You know how it is. And then I did that. I'm like, oh, I should just not tweet for a while. And I got busy doing other things. I did, and that was nice. But I know what you mean.
Tried to take a nap, and instead was just on Twitter and seeing horrendous things and whatnot, and getting bummed out. But it's all so stupid that at least at this part of me is like, man, why am I even upset? It's all so dumb. But I don't know. That it's then real people are actually being harassed. So then it's a big bummer again. I don't know. It sucks.
It sucks. I mean, for me, it's like I hope the people that are being harassed know that I want them here so bad. I want them to stay around. I don't want them to stay around if they don't want to be around anymore, which I don't blame them. But boy, whenever I see them standing up and continuing to like fight back, it fills me with encouragement. I want them here so bad that this place is so much better with them than without them.
I mean, I think a lot of people don't remember when Gamergate 1 happened. We did lose people. A lot of people actually did just peace out, and there were a lot of very
friends
good
of
people.
mine, Jen Frank. Yes. I think of all the time.
That's exactly what I was thinking about, and it's been a major bummer.
Industry was so much better when Jen Frank was here, and people aren't going to know that name. You should. Because she was amazing, and she just left because of chud fucks just ruining everything. So, that's definitely when this was getting started. It was her in my mind. I was thinking about like you can only do so much because you push back, and that turns into fuel for them. So, honestly, Mike, the sort of orbital strike you did the other night was so we don't have to go into it, but it was like, no, that was perfect because I think everyone sort of recognized, oh, someone's crossing the line here. Let's all just sort of like point that out and recognize that this is clearly getting out of hand. And I feel like people are sometimes realizing it. Sometimes it just pushes them further. There's no great answer here, but I do occasionally talk to the people who are being affected and let them know that, they are, I want them here. When we do Giant Bomb at night, they're invited, of course, because, I want to talk to them no matter what, but they have a home with us. And it bums me out.
Yeah. I mean, what was driving me crazy is now this like weird narrative that they have just invented of how they're trying to do to this Stellar Blade character what they did to 2B from Nier Automata. And it's like, guys, Nier Automata got an 88 Metacritic.
Yep.
Like all the gaming journalists that you hate loved it. But it doesn't matter pointing that out to them. It makes me feel better, and it makes other people better. Because then they just come to me, like they literally the thing they say it's like, oh, even a broken clock, blah blah blah. Or one person's like, well, in 2017, like the woke mind virus wasn't a thing yet. It's like, when do you think the first Gamergate happened?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
But there's no arguing with it.
There's no arguing with it. Right. I know what they're actually upset about.
Yes, right.
Because I can tell based off the people they harass.
Yes.
All the white and all the women and all the black people. Like,
that's the thing. Apparently, and again, sometimes I see this stuff and I can't help but fall down the hole. Sometimes I'm too busy. Today I was like mostly too busy, but I saw someone's like they think that SBI went to one of whatever Microsoft studio and like told them to make the characters in South of Midnight black. And then like that's a problem. I'm like, okay, even if all that did happen, what's the problem? How is that a problem? That game looks so much better because it's a game in the American South with black characters. That sounds like something that should have been the case from the beginning. And if it wasn't, people come in and say it would be better if you did that. We're correct. Maybe you're just fucking racist. Like, it's so clear you're just racist.
That's all it is. It's all it is. Okay, I'm sorry when I didn't mean to like start talking about this on the podcast, but just ask me how I was doing. Yeah, I had to tell him the truth.
And the reality is I'm always thinking about this stuff, and it's not great to go online, and especially me. If I go on there and do it's such a lightning rod for them to like, oh, this journalist whose name I recognize says something, it turns into YouTube headlines and it fuels them. So I have to be very judicious with it.
And my favorite thing is seeing the people in the comments just saying, I'm on Twitter, what are you talking about? God, that makes me feel better because it does just remind you.
Yeah, it's nothing.
God, it's nothing, and it's definitely real in the sense that like these people are getting harassed, and like it's all women and black developers, content creators, journalists, or whatever. And I hate seeing that, and I want to be able to help. But yes, it's good to know that it is just these fucking weirdos who are on social media with no social skills, and I don't know, nothing going on for them except the ability to defend a fictional video game character's honor in a game that's not even out yet.
Yep, they are just fighting shadows in their head. They are shadow boxing with their own imagination, and that's the most important thing to remember. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to go through and explain beat by beat what's going on here. If your sort of inclination here is to ignore it, lean into that. Just ignore it. All right. Hey, you can get more from Mike and me by joining the Discord at GameMess.net. Give us a good rating wherever you are listening and hit that like button on YouTube, please. It helps people find the show. If you want to ask a question, you could drop a super chat during the show on YouTube. It does help people find it. I'm sorry. We'll get to all those before the end of the show. Thank you to Carlos.
We're all rattled.
We're rattled, goddammit. Carlos is Insane in the Rain music on YouTube. Thanks to him for the use of our theme songs. Thanks to 1UP versus CPU for our artwork. You could find more of him at 1UpVersusCPU.com. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and wherever pods are caught, except for Google Podcast, which is dead now. I guess if I'm saying this and they're like, hey, you should switch your app, I don't think you can even hear me say that anymore. So hopefully you already did that.
Fuck you, Google Podcast.
Thank you.
I don't know.
It's on YouTube Music now, I guess. I don't really know how it works. Thank you to the mods, and support us by going to patreon.com/GameMess. That gets you access to private channels in our Discord, the monthly Q&A, participation in our monthly Game Club discussions, 1 month early access to new episodes of Game Mess Jeopardy and Columbros, and of course, all of our shows ad-free. Shout outs to everyone who's been signing up recently. It means a lot. Really appreciate it. Enables us to do more and more, and makes me want to do more and more. All right.
One more thing. I'm sorry.
Let's do it. Fucking let's go, man.
It's incredible that the moment we started doing a lot more like facial capture stuff in video games, all these losers who are only ever used to digital and fake representations of women are suddenly like, why did the women suddenly get more ugly? Yeah. Like all of a sudden we're actually based off of real people, and all of a sudden they're hideous now.
And you know what they'll say to that? You know what they say to that? They're like, well, Eve from Stellar Blade is based on a real woman. They say this with a straight face. And I'm like, they show the picture of the real woman and it doesn't look anything like her. They changed her. Yeah. They made her look like an anime character. Yeah, like maybe they like started there, but they fucking changed her to make her look more like an anime fuck doll. And if that upsets you, what? It's reality. It's what they did. I don't. I mean, it doesn't even really bother me. It's just what happened, and that happens in games all the time.
Like, yeah, again, the idea that people are like furious that somebody was like, "This kind of looks like a sex doll." I was like, "Yeah, it does. I don't care.
Yeah,
it's fine." But like, yes, it does.
And Bayonetta's better because Bayonetta has very similar sexuality, like visual appeal, and isn't a doll. It just clearly is in no way a sex doll. So. Whatever. People can like what they like. We are. God, we ever shamed anybody? We just like making fun of stuff because I grew up watching Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's how I react to everything. I just make fun of everything. So just get over it.
Right. Yeah. Stop being so sensitive. God.
Yeah. Oh.
Stop being so fragile.
And then in all of their fucking videos, it's just cancel stuff. They're like, someone did a shit post I didn't like where they said, you can't be racist against white people. And I'm going to cancel them and get them fired from their job. I'm like, I thought you homies didn't like cancel culture. You seem to really like it. When you get a woman fired from her job.
Yeah, that's what it's great. Okay. All right. Got off my chest.
Goddamn pieces of shit. All right. Big topics this week. Gear 6 is going to be at the Xbox showcase, I think, everybody. I said it on the XCast yesterday. That sounds about right. Based on what I've heard, that's probably going to happen. Things could always change. You get mad at me for saying that. I'll keep saying it because it's true. God, Mike, where are you at with Gears these days?
That's a good question, Jeff. It's something I've actually been thinking about, right? Because it's like, how are we going to present Gear 6? It's got to be kind of this big deal. But man, in a world where the last big Halo seemed like it could only do so much, and I don't want to. I've been getting yelled at more about Halo than even other things on the internet recently. But again, to me, it's like, man, I just like, I wonder what impact Gear 6 is going to have. I bet it could do very well, especially it's going to be a very pretty game. It's going to be a very good-looking game.
Yes, I bet it will be very impressive visually.
Yeah, so I don't know. What do you think is going to be the impact of Gear 6?
I think the impact's going to be...
I'll tell you what, call it Gears of War 6, and then I'll be happy.
Okay, I was waiting for that. That's why I said Gears 6. I was waiting for you to get...
Yeah, you triggered me!
I think it's going to have a bigger impact than any recent Gears game has had, mostly because they did kind of give it some extra time, and I do think it is going to be probably one of the most visually impressive games that is released in quite some time, especially from the Xbox side of things. Hellblade 2 is Unreal Engine. It looks really good now. Combine that with like an epic scale that Gears can do, and I think it could be really impressive. And this also gives them, they've had enough time and enough opportunity here to maybe reestablish some new baselines for what the franchise can look like, what it can feel like. I imagine that they'll kind of have a lot of the basics there still. Cover shooter. I mean, why wouldn't you just continue to be that? Yeah,
sure,
but
especially these days where there aren't a ton of those like there used to be. Like, come on.
Right. But take some chances in a lot of other ways. I'm expecting them to do exactly that. So I'm hopeful. The thing that makes me worried is like they seem to have this game, like they want to get it out like very soon, like not this year or anything like that. Not right. Crazy soon, but soon enough that it's like, man, how is that thing ready already? My guess here is like when they were saying, hey, we're going to work on these other two games before we work on Gears 6, they probably did have a lot of people always working on Gears, even then. And it was like maybe a Skunkworks team or whatever, but they probably had it sketched out, ready to go. And now the whole team is working on it and it's coming. If this Xbox showcase comes and they have Gears 6 and then updates on all the previously announced games, is that enough for you, or do you need some? Because I don't know, how do you feel about like Perfect Dark and Fable and what's the sword one?
Gosh, now
Avowed, yes. Avowed. If we get updates on all those and they have like real dates, they look like real games, would you be pretty happy with that showcase, or do you need maybe some other surprises?
I'd be pretty happy. Like a smaller surprise would be nice. Like, not a sense, but something like of the level of them bringing back Battletoads at one time. Even something of just that level would be nice enough for me. Yeah. I don't need them to announce another AAA game. And it's funny, like, even though it's been so long since we heard about Perfect Dark, not really expecting to see anything that. But, seeing something of Fable would be nice. I am curious to see more of Avowed in Indiana Jones.
True.
Yeah, I think having just all these things that we do know about and know are coming, and having the debut of Gear 6, that is almost certainly good enough for me.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm not, hey, you got to surprise me and tickle me with all these other things that you haven't announced yet. I want the things that they've already announced to look good. That's where I'm at with Xbox. If that stuff can look good and you can make some big promises with Indiana Jones, it's coming out later this year, I'll be pretty happy with them. And then who knows? They could still have some surprises on top of that. But that's just not what I need from that company right now.
I wonder how much they're looking over there at what's the Gear studio called now? The Coalition. I wonder how much the Coalition was looking at Halo Infinite's response and realized, man, we got to make sure that we have a roadmap here, because like Halo Infinite just got absolutely dragged for not having enough quote unquote content. Right? Yeah, I guess so much. That's so much the battle anymore, right? Like again. Like I was just tweeting, like, hey, I always thought Gears Infinite was always good. I had a ton of people yell at me about how it wasn't. And it's like the reasons I always get, it's so interesting. It's like, because it didn't have this, it didn't have that, content this. And I'm like, did you think the game was fun?
Yeah.
Right? It's
well,
like,
what about the things it did have? About that. The fun gameplay, which is really fun.
Right. And it's like, I don't know, there's so much more of that. And like, I look, things should be criticized, right? Like, if you don't like the microtransactions in Dragon's Dogma 2, that should be criticized. It's fine. But I'm always surprised how much like something like that, or like there's no new game plus, right? Something that back in my day, I never even thought about new game plus as anything that remotely mattered. And now it's like one of these boxes that if it's not there, then it's like it can only be so good a game anymore.
And I think part of this is just like we all come to games with different expectations, and in a couple of stories here, we'll get to like, some maybe some criticisms that we hang on to that most people seem to not care about. We'll talk about that in a second with Hellblade 2. But I'm so with you on Halo, and I think when it comes to Gears, the thing is, Gears 5 had multiplayer, and it feels like it came and went really fast. I think it did come and go really fast, and very few people were actually engaging with it.
It felt more like Uncharted multiplayer in some weird way than like something. And I think already even since then, expectations have changed.
That's what I'm asking. Is it like, are the expectations different now, and that game is going to have to match what all these other games are doing in terms of service stuff, or is Gears like Well, no, it's the game I go to play for the single player, and then the multiplayer is a bonus. That doesn't really exist anymore, right?
Maybe they might have a benefit because if they can sort of focus on the single player and horde mode, if they get those two things maybe looking good, and then people could be a little generous about like, yeah, there's not like, this, 5 seasons of content promised for the multiplayer out of the gate. I don't know. I do think the presentation is going to help. Like maybe part of what hurt Infinite always was the whole infinite thing, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe in retrospect,
it is a lot of the language of calling the game Infinite, saying that there was a 10-year plan, setting up the single player with the seeming promise of finishing that story and then abandoning it. There's a lot of reasons why people who are super into Halo are feeling sour. And at the end of the day, it's a really great game. It just is. It's a lot of fun to play. And these days, maybe it is just because I'm a bit older, Mike. When I criticize and assess games, I think about them in a long-term capacity where I'm like, how am I going to feel about the game if I were to come back to it 20 years from now? And I bet if I were to pick up Halo Infinite 20 years from now, I'd be like, man, this game rules. It is so much fun to play. We got 10 people in a match, and we're 5-on-5 having a good time. I bet that is going to hold up in a way that, like, going back to Mario Strikers holds up. So, yeah. It's kind of along these same lines. PlayStation is probably going to have a showcase in May. This is another thing I heard. Feel pretty confident about this one as well. It could be a state of play, maybe. I lean towards showcase.
It should be. It should be showcase. At this point,
should be a showcase at this point. So wait, why do you say that?
We haven't heard much about PlayStation in a while here, and I know like we all think it's going to be a very quiet year. Even a very quiet year needs to have a game or two, and we know that's not like going to be a big sequel. Is something they said. It's not even Ghost of Tsushima 2. Yep. But like, okay, like, is there going to be an Astro game? Is there going to be some kind of new IP? I mean, is there even going to be some more partner stuff like Helldivers? Maybe not partners the word there, or like another big third party thing like a Final Fantasy Rebirth. And maybe there isn't. I'm forgetting about it. Like there's gotta be something happening this holiday.
Yeah. So there's probably like that Concord game. Some of these live service games that they've talked about previously probably do happen later this year. Astro, I could continue to hear that's probably going to happen later this year. Someone mentioned it in chat that Blue Point IP is supposed to be an original thing. Maybe that's ready. These days that feels like maybe even it's too early for that even. But especially I'm like, Ghost of Tsushima 2 could come out this year. No, that's not ready. So Blue Point not having their game ready wouldn't surprise me either. But it could. And that would like still fit with what Sony said about not having any like legacy follow-ups to first-party AAA games. Right. That wouldn't fall into that. That'd be a new original IP. So maybe they could have a lot of big stuff. I think you're right. They probably will have more and kind of equivalent third-party partnerships that are as big as some of the other ones they've had. And then there'll probably be some of these, for lack of a better term, second party teams that they don't own that actually publish first party Sony games kind of coming out of the woodworks. They won't be massive. But I don't know if you have, one in each of those boxes, right? One of the live service games, Astro, Blue Point, like you start getting 4, 5, 6 things that could be pretty big.
Maybe a Bloodborne remaster?
Remaster, sure. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I mean, something along those lines at the very least, though. Like you get a good remaster. Yeah. A big remake announced, and then you have on top of that stuff that we already do know about, Metal Gear Solid, Delta,
Silent Hill 2. Like these things that are like inherently Sony kind of based, but not Sony first party.
So they have the potential to set up a pretty strong second half of the year, kind of out of nowhere, and I think they'll do that in May. I'm not going to be like, last year I was hearing, they were very excited about their showcase, and then it came out and no one liked it. So I'm not going to do that again. But at the very least, it just seems like they could have a lot of cool stuff, even if they don't have the things that you want from Sucker Punch, from Naughty Dog, from all these studios that you like that we all associate with. When we think of PlayStation, we think of these studios. Right. Yeah, they won't be there. But I think the showcase could still be good regardless.
You think they would show Wolverine if it's it's not coming out this year? Do you think they're going to show that anyways?
They've
they just showed the leak footage on like the screen.
That'd be very funny.
You all see this anyway.
Yeah, that'd be funny. They might have like I can't remember. I can't keep track of all the leaks. Was there any talk of like a Spider-Man 2 DLC? You know,
Venom.
Venom. Venom is going to be the standalone DLC, right? So
yeah, Venom's going to be like the Miles Morales
standalone. Yeah. Maybe they talk about Venom because Wolverine is still pretty far away. So I don't know. So how are you feeling about the summer game mess overall then? So we know Xbox is doing something in June. Ubisoft announced something for June. This will probably be happening in May, relatively close to when all these other things are happening. So that's starting to like shape up. Oh, of course, Jeff Keighley's thing. Does that feel good to you?
I don't know. Sure, I do. I still feel like it's going to be kind of slow. It's going to continue to feel kind of slow in this middle part of the year. I think there's going to be a lot of people sort of holding their breath and waiting for Nintendo to talk about Switch 2. Maybe that happens this summer. Does it? I don't know. They're not going to have much in the way of games to even talk about by summer, I feel like. I mean, we already kind of have low expectations for what Sony's going to do. Xbox seems to have the most going on, but they also seem to have like the biggest hurdles in terms of kind of reaching audiences. They've struggled a bit in the past to kind of live up to expectations, right?
Correct.
Like this time last year, I was feeling fantastic about Starfield, I think, or by the summer I was. Yep. And, not that Starfield was some disaster, of course. I think this time last year we were pretty close to Redfall coming out, or it had come out, and that was a whole thing. So, I mean, I'm not feeling like great about the rest of the year. That doesn't really bother me. I've been saying for a while now I could kind of use some time off to catch up on things and play some more old things. That's fine. But I think we're going to probably look at like what we're seeing at the Summer Game Fest, and we're going to have more talks about how it ain't what it used to be like when it was E3, huh?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a mess still. It's going to be spread out and slow and fits and starts. I think we'll get, for me, like, okay, put Ubisoft, Sony, Microsoft close together. Maybe we get lucky. Nintendo does a direct around that same time. If all that happens, like, that's enough for me to like get excited. Obviously, we'll be out in LA anyhow, like at this point. But if all that's happening, that'll make it worth it.
I mean, we're getting Silksong soon, so that's fine. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it, Mike. How are you feeling about that?
Pretty excited. It's like, I never actually like let myself get excited about Silksong because it always seemed a million years away. But boy, Hollow Knight is a very good video game. When Silksong actually comes out, I'm just going to immediately dive into that and have a very good time. For
people who are wondering, it's been rated by the ESRB when the store page went up, and now they found that it was rated by the Korean rating agency back in February. So about 2 months ago, and that means it could come out any minute, honestly, the way that has worked in the past. It could also come out much later this summer or later this year. Things shift all the time, but if it's rated by Korea, usually that means about 6 weeks later it comes out. We're obviously already past that point or getting right to that point right now. So yeah, any day. People are pointing to that Triple I Initiative gaming showcase, Mike, that is happening on the 10th, I believe. It's April 4th as we're recording this. Do you think it could pop up there?
Like maybe if it was presented as the most important show-stopping thing there. I think I agree with you. It seems too big for that at this point.
It would be, if that was happening, that to me would feel like the people who make Hollow Knight Silksong are doing the Triple I Initiative show a favor. Like, hey, we're gonna make your show seem more important because Hollow Knight Silksong was there. And I mean, listen, at the end of the day, all of this stuff is just people talking to one another. There is every possibility in the world that studio is friends with the people responsible for that show. And they're like, yeah, of course we'll be there. We got your back. We'll show our game there. That could happen. If it's like all things being equal, that thing shows up at the Xbox showcase again. And
right, because it's a Game Pass game still, right? Yep. So like that deal's already been made.
Yep.
So like Microsoft has an incentive to showcase the game and give it a very good slot on their thing. So that still seems like the most likely place.
And more people would be watching the Xbox showcase than the Triple I Initiative by a factor of like 10, if not 100. All right. Finally here, Hellblade 2 makes me mad.
Just, yeah.
Not in the cinematic way, though.
In a cinematic way, yeah.
Yeah.
It is, the previews are sounding promising, more promising than I was expecting. I was, for me, I was like, the first Hellblade wasn't for me. So when I read these previews and they start talking about combat and like things where it's like you're causing a, like sort of a jailbreak, and then everything catches on fire. Part of me, my imagination gets going. I'm like, oh, I wonder how I can interact with that. And the reality is, it's probably pretty limited in terms of interaction.
You're not going to be able to interact with it.
I bet you're right. I bet you're right. But my brain gets going. Who knows? Maybe some more is happening there than I'm realizing. And at the very least, if it looks cool, it does look like a very pretty game. 30 frames per second on Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X. I am at a point where I'm not surprised by that, Mike. So when I saw that, I'm like, yeah, okay, that sounds about right for this game. And then you're like, nah, it still bothers me. And I'm like, man, I'm glad Mike's out there doing this. I'm glad he's still out there. Like, because here's the thing. So many times something like this will happen and people are kind of shitty or being like, I think this happened because the developers are lazy. And I know you're not like that. So when you're like that, I just like 60 frames per second better. I'm like, yeah, follow Mike.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. I hate this. Like, people are being lazy or bad. No. It just actually is something that I notice a lot, and it bothers me. And I get it doesn't bother everyone. It was really interesting to me. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth launched with, performance mode and fidelity mode or whatever. And, I tried both, and like the one was at 30 frames per second, and I am so sensitive to that. I don't know why, because I played plenty of 30 FPS games in my life. But if I see the smooth one and the not smooth one, the smooth one looks like a flip note to me. It looks so rough to me. I can't even stand to look at it. So of course I'm doing 60 FPS. But that was a game that a lot of people were like, no, play the fidelity version. Like, people keep throwing out the line, oh, it looks like Vaseline on performance mode. And I'm like, does it? It's so, and of course it's just, hey, different people are different. But it's so crazy to me how I don't see that at all in terms of the fidelity. Like, yeah, I guess it looks a little bit worse. I can barely notice. And then this frame rate thing is such a big deal to me that it's like, if I was like making it and somebody told me our game's only gonna be 30 FPS, I'm like, well, we got to do something about that. We have to sacrifice like that rock texture is going to be 2 pixels now. And of course, that's not what you should do. But somehow it's the way that I got coded. And it's just, yeah, a game to a certain extent, especially a game that's supposed to be kind of the newest, greatest, most impressive thing, it's just not going to be that graphically impressive to me if it's at 30 frames per second. Like, it's kind of snobby. And like, I understand why that's the case. That's just sort of the way I see things. Some people kind of phrase this, and it's just semantics, but people say, oh, well, the frame rate has to be lower so that the graphics can be better. I mean, to me, frame rate is a major part of the graphics, right? That's just a visual component. And again, like, maybe the most important part of it to me. So yeah, I understand it's not some major deal breaker, of course, but especially because like I naively thought in the beginning stages of this generation, like, wow, we're not going to have to worry about 30 frames per second anymore. No, we are like at the point where we're consistently getting games that don't even have like a 60 FPS option. It's just not even considering that stuff.
Yeah. And I tend to agree with most of that. And I definitely think that really the reason I'm more nonchalant about this these days is I'll play it on PC and I'll fucking make that thing run at 60 frames per second, whatever I have to do. And that's the truth. And that's Dragon's Dogma 2 is a game that struggles at 60 frames per second sometimes with even my machine. And so, like, the reality is I can go with like 45 frames per second, even like a variable frame rate, because I got the G-Sync turned on these monitors. So I just
G-Sync is huge.
Right, exactly. So if you have is it VRS? That's variable rate shading. So VRR, variable refresh rate. If you have that, I uncap it, like, and if you can get up to like 45, I'm gonna be pretty happy. And most TVs can do that these days. So again, I hear 30 frames per second. I'm like, that it's not. I don't love to hear that, because that doesn't get close to where I'm very happy with the game. But again, I'll play on PC, and I won't. This will leave me behind because I won't be thinking about it anymore, because I'll be playing on a machine that doesn't have to deal with that. And then if you're on console still and it does bother you these days, it's like. They do give you the option to go play this on PC if that really matters to you. So it's like, as much as we do criticize, and I think it's fair to criticize, it's like the solution is out there, and I think that's just where we're at. And these developers are going to like, hey, we're going to push these consoles as far as we can. And one of them is a $300 thing with a GPU that's only meant to do 1080p 60, and it's getting kind of old already. So the fact that we're here is not too surprising to me, is all there is to it.
Right. It's like if a show was in town I really wanted to see, and they said standing room only, I'm still going to go see the show. But I'm going to wish I had a seat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And the PC thing is good, and like that's definitely part of it. Is like, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I just need to invest in better PCs. But I like consoles. I want consoles to be better, and I get it. Consoles have to be affordable, and like that money has to come out of like chips and hardware. So it's gonna be difficult for these things to do what a high-end PC can. Of course, I guess, maybe what I want is impossible, but the heart wants what it wants, Jeff.
Yes, it does. And again, like I said, I'm glad you're out there just like being reasonable about it and be like, I like this better, because it's like, oh yeah, that when it comes down to it, that's how I feel too.
And I do sort of feel like the big like 30 FPS fine crowd is just like a reaction to the people who are being real shitty about 60 FPS, and I get it. I get it. But like, not everything has to be these extremes.
Yes, right. It's like you said, it's not even a nice to have. It's like, no, this is a criticism. It should have this, but I'll make do. I will make do when it
I do hope that we are getting to a point where, as like, we get better processors on these things. We do realize the games don't need to look much better anymore for a bit. Maybe we can like push this into making frame rates better for a bit and pull off our need to like make a rock texture even higher and to add even more particle effects. But I just don't know if that's how it's gonna be.
And it's like,
wow, not a real prestige gamer over here.
I mean, and it's
Paul Reichardt's based.
The reality is that I think some of the biggest developers in the world have already made that decision. Like, I mean, Call of Duty will always be 60 frames per second. And I think Call of Duty always looks pretty damn good. And the big part of it is it's 60 frames per second. So I feel like, hey, if you're going to learn from another studio, maybe look at what Call of Duty's doing, because they sell a lot of video games.
More like Call of Duty.
Yeah, listen, they sell a lot of video games. I don't know. I mean, 60 frames per second with stuff that looks like Call of Duty or Doom or any of the number of these games that like can easily pull off 60 frames per second, if not higher. That's where I want games to kind of like dial in. But I get that the prestige studios do need to like feel like they need to push these things as far as possible. So here we are. All right, that does it for the big topics. If there's anything else anyone wants to bring up, you can always send in a super chat. We'll get to those right after a quick break.
This is the quick break.
All right, we can go right to super chats. I'll get a new drink as we do those.
All right, sounds good.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Ready.
Let's do the super chats, Mike. What do you got for me?
Carlos Lopez says, it's a lie when execs say games are the biggest entertainment. Movies and music are more popular. With barrier for entry so high, and after that 60-40 split article, it seems gaming has reached saturation. When will execs realize this? To kind of distill this, Jeff, do you believe that video games are the biggest entertainment medium?
I mean, depends on how you measure it. If it's about like dollars spending, a lot of times it is the biggest one, but clearly that doesn't mean it's bigger in terms of cultural footprint. Music is, of course, bigger. Movies, more people see movies than play video games. Although that does feel like it's probably there's probably a bar that is going to cross there eventually, where like free to play video games on people's phones will definitely put that ahead of even movies, because the barrier to entry is higher for that than even to play games on your phone. So here's the reality. None of that matters. That doesn't matter what's the biggest video game or what's the biggest entertainment medium. That's all just blah, 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 distraction. Is it growing? It's all these companies care about. And at the moment, console gaming is not growing. The wider gaming marketplace is actually stuttering overall when you take into account everything that's happening. So that's what these companies are worried about. And they don't measure themselves against movies or music in reality. That never really happens. That's always just for a PR blast.
Next one here is from Connor Wood. It says, congratulations to the top 5 world record holder. Well, not if it gets approved, Jeff. Yes, I was grinding some more Mortal Kombat mythologies last night.
I am very excited for you, Mike. That is really good work. I was watching some of it, and it like how far you came. I remember because like you were fighting that dinosaur on Blight Club, and I'm like, just do what he's doing on the video, and like you're like kind of half doing it, but it never worked right. And then like tune into one of your streams, and you're just doing it perfectly. I'm like, man, that looks so good. So I'm not surprised that you got there. Really well done, dude.
The best thing is that I have the fusion fight technique down for the most part, where you just do these weird like triple punches in this exact pattern, this exact timing, and you can just insta kill him. And God, that feels good.
That is fantastic.
if this run gets approved, and I assume it will be the new number 5. Now, because I'm a little shitter, I'm going to have to point out it'll be the new number 1 in terms of original hardware, right? I mean, does it really count if you're playing on emulation?
I don't think so.
No. But yes, very excited about that. I'm going to push a little bit harder. Part of me is almost a little worried because this run went very well for me. I basically messed up a bit at the final boss. That cost me 20 seconds, a few small mistakes here and there. To really make much more progress, I need to find like a minute or two to shave off, and I'm wondering where that's going to come from. So I might have to like look up some more advanced strats or something. I don't know.
Are you doing the things where like, you have enemies uppercut you up to like platforms and stuff?
I'm doing that. There's like a real hard version of it that Sagat, the world record holder, does, where he kind of like roundhouse kicks this guy across multiple gaps to have him uppercut him somewhere that lets him like skip a major boss fight. And that is like, can I do that? Maybe like that might be the kind of real difficult stuff I might have to consider learning if I want to go much further. We'll see. But I was very happy this run. Like it actually fit, more and more like feeling like actual speed runs. Because for a while it was just every time I beat this game in one sitting, I do it a little bit faster than last time. And now it's like we're resetting like 30, 40 times before I actually get like this run now.
Right.
So it feels really good.
Cool. Well done.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm pretty great. Next one here's from Adam GC. It says, in honor of me for defeating the push-up challenge. Hey, congrats, Adam GC. I would not be able to do that. So there you go.
Steph got me like one of those push-up boards for my birthday, so I'll give it a shot.
Why? Ugh. Even if even when I do exercise, which needs to be more pretty soon here, I hate push-ups, and I know that's why they're good for you because they feel terrible.
I don't like it. I don't like exercising on the ground. It's like a sensitivity.
Yeah, what
thing.
am I? Some kind of like Grubb? I didn't even mean that.
Wow, that's my word. You're not allowed to use that.
I'm not allowed to use that word. Zubmer says Isaac Newton was right. Delusional criticisms of Aloy and Mary Jane in fighting equal but opposite delusional criticisms of Eve. Sony wins regardless. Flip Flam Andrew says 30 FPS amateurs. Tell me about games you love despite them running like actual garbage. Like when I platted Control on a base PlayStation 4. Hey, Breath of the Wild did not run well, and that was a great game.
Yeah, it got a little bit better over time, but I think Kakariko Village still is kind of a little bit of a mess these days. Stunt Race FX. Give me all 11 frames per second. I don't care.
There you go.
That game like has a lot of charm, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, Fallout 3 on Xbox 360 I don't think was great, but that's how I played it, and I had a great time. So,
definitely true.
Again, it's not the end all be all. Oh, here's Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is back. That's nice.
Chris on.
He says 30 FPS, 60 FPS, 120 FPS. It doesn't matter as long as you're gaming. Like I was in 1986 playing Mario in the arcades and stomping poopas. Cool, Chris John. Thank you, Chris John.
Thank you, Chris John.
Scrub McGrub with the first super chatter, thank you, Scrub, says was catching up with the bombcast today, and Jeff mentioned a natural disaster in Taiwan could interrupt the world's chip supply. Then that happens. Oh, you guys caused that?
Okay, you did this.
Look,
You piece of shit.
It's your fault.
Look. That is
died.
so fucked up.
Christian, don't make me laugh at that, Christian.
Look, I was just like, hey, if a natural disaster could come, it would be bad for our consoles. And then a real natural disaster happened and hurt human beings. And I was like, oh my God, this sucks. So, hey,
that's such an unfortunate timing.
People matter way more than video game consoles. I just want that to state for the record. And I'm going to stop talking about shit that could happen in the future on podcasts.
Yeah. Don't worry about adjusting my focus there. We're good. Next one here is from Antonioni. He says, thanks for taking my Yoshi's Island tweet. Well, today, Mike didn't know about the other Twitter drama. Oh, no, your tweet was funny, Antonioni. It's all good. Next one is from El Grug. It says, is Jeff aware of wearing shorts?
I've heard of the concept, yeah. But
you wear shorts constantly. You wear shorts at times when everyone else is wearing long pants. You're a big shorts guy.
Yeah.
They're banning shorts in Argentina because dengue will beat you in your legs and you will die.
Yeah, well.
You wear shorts.
Yeah, that's right.
You'll die.
Listen, I appreciate that of my Southern American friends who believe that wearing shorts is only for little boys, but I'm a little boy, so I'll wear some shorts.
God, they kill you for singing Frank Sinatra. They kill you for wearing shorts. So that's kind kind of violent down there.
Okay,
Christian.
that's
rough.
that's
It's rough
Filipinos
here.
that will kill you for wearing or for singing Frank
excuse
Sinatra. Band.
me. My bad.
Hey,
They're, all,
Chris, it's okay.
they're little
We'll
and
take
brown to
them.
Mike. They're all the same.
I already accidentally called Jan Tam today. I can't be doing that.
It's
my
not
God.
our fault that Jam, Tan, and Dan all
They sound-
basically the
it's
same
hard.
thing. It sucks.
It's hard. It's hard. There's 2 Jeffs. There's more Jeffs in the past. I can't handle it. How am I the only Mike? Is that even true?
That is weird. How are you the only Mike?
How am I it? All right.
I wear shorts. I run hot. I need shorts. So yeah, I wear them all the time.
Think it's gonna kill you. Never come here then.
That's the that's like the great paradox of running hot is that you want to wear a t-shirt because it's cooler, but then you want to wear the hoodie because it hides so many sweat sins.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it is it's the constant battle between what I'm going to wear. Yep.
B. Traven says, tired of how damn woke Mario has gotten. I don't want to have to explain to my kids what an Italian is. That's fair. That's a difficult conversation for every parent. I get it.
That's really good.
Ali Miracle says, Mikey, nice shirt. Joe, yes, this is I got this shirt from PAX for beating Ashura, a new trial boss in the next Final Fantasy 14 expansion, Dawn Trail. So I was very happy to get my shirt. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of the MVP of the team because I was the Red Mage, which is my main, and I got randomly put on that computer, and Red Mages can revive everybody very fast. So since we were dying a lot because no one had ever played this boss before, I was just reviving everybody like crazy. Fun time. That new song came out. Christian, you heard that song. Did you like it?
Yes.
For Dawn Trail? Yeah.
It's pretty. The video, yeah, the song is the song from the trailer, but the video is new. The video is fun. It's
Yep.
funny video.
Uncharted Wolf says, as someone who's actually played Stellar Blade, that game slaps. Would love if more people talked about the video game part of the video game. Yeah, and like we said on here before, like, hey, we want to like this game too. I don't want to let it get to me, but God, I'm trying my best. But these motherfuckers are being so much, Jeff. It is starting. I don't want to be that. I want to enjoy Stellar Blade.
Absolutely.
But I'm just like looking at it sometimes, and I could just imagine them like frothing at the mouth, being able to like see an ass or something, and it's like off-putting. I don't want to let them win.
Yep.
I'm not going to, but
I've had to make a conscious decision as well to like not let them get to me when it comes to the game, because it's like that is silly. They should not win that and take these things away from us, because I bet the game's going to be, based on the demo, I had a really good time with it. It's going to be just fine. I do find a lot of it appealing. I think the designs are cool a lot of times. I think some of their fashion is really cool. I know exactly what you mean, Mike. They get in my head and I start thinking about them.
Remember back when we found out about the heart on the vagina? We weren't upset. We laughed
No,
at
it was hilarious.
But I guess like it is like weird to me if you think that's like a real cool thing. I don't care, but I am a little bit like, okay. It's like when you walk in.
I think you think it's cool in like a fun, ironic way. Like
sure.
Look how stupid this thing is. Isn't that fun that they're like being stupid like that?
Not an A. This is going to solve my made-up cultural war.
Right, yeah. This is a flag in the ground against the woke mind virus. If you think that, you are sick and need help. Now,
I was about to say I really like how she like sheets her sword on her hair. It's a cool like effect. You ever see her like?
Yes, she puts her sword away and it turns into like the hair clip sort of thing, right?
Yeah, it looks super cool.
That is one of the cooler animations that she has for sure.
And the enemies look cool. I think the enemies are pretty good.
Next up here is from Mitchell Dice, another first super chat. Thank you. Said, hey, Mike and Jeff, can you all do some match card predictions for WrestleMania 40? Thanks. Why don't we do that right now, Jeff? How about I read you the card? You can really quickly give me your prediction.
Yes. Is the card like fully out now?
I think so. I've got a card pulled up right now. So let's just do what they have right here. Night one. We're gonna kind of blast this a little bit. The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
Rock and Roman Reigns win that.
Yeah, I gotta set up some future drama. I gotta get
Yep.
the Women's World Championship match: Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a good match. But Rhea Ripley's gonna win.
Yeah, I agree. Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the IC title.
This is like the first time in a while that I feel like maybe someone could take down Gunther, but no, Gunther probably wins.
Gunther's got to move up to like bigger things eventually.
Eventually,
here.
it's just the timing's a little. I suppose Gunther being like one of the first feuds for a Cody Rhodes, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, and are they worried about like you know, like Sammy's still popular, but he got really hot that moment. Is it like a concern of them to like reheat him up that much again? Does winning the IC belt even do that? I'm not sure.
I see. That's why I'm like, I think this is going to be another really good fight. I think it's going to be very entertaining. I don't necessarily think Sami Zayn needs to win this belt.
Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso.
Yeah, I think Jay. I'll go with Jay. That would be like the feel good one after the tag team one is going to be disappointing to people.
6-pack ladder match for the tag team championships. Judgment Day versus Awesome Truth versus DIY versus New Day versus New Catch Republic versus A-Town Down Under.
I listen, based on not much, I think Judgment Day.
It seems like Judgment Day maybe I was misunderstanding this, but I think Judgment Day's maybe at the end of its life, right? It's been running for a while.
Yeah, that seems likely, yeah. But I mean, it's still like I don't know. Is there a better like tag team ready to come in and take over?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, yeah, we'll see. Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill versus Damage Control. You gotta let Jade get him. I'm sorry, I shouldn't influence your decision, but what do you think?
No, I'm interested in your take as well. I think Jade Cargill gets the really big showcase here. Yeah,
I think that's probably what a good part of this match is about. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio.
Dominic Mysterio always wins.
There you go. Was that last year we had the amazing entrance out of the cop car?
I think yes.
He's a prisoner. Yeah, he's prison dom.
He is the best wrestler in the history of the world. I love him so much.
Okay, night 2. Let me start from the bottom because last time it was kind of doing the big matches first. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament.
Final Testament.
Okay. L.A. Knight versus AJ Styles.
LA Knight, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so. AJ Styles will have a good match, though.
AJ Styles out here openly talking about how his retirement's like not far away. Not that LA Knight's like a real young guy, but come on. I think there's a little bit you can do there with him still.
Yep.
United States Championship triple threat. Logan Paul, the champion, versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens.
This is a tough one. I think Logan Paul probably does win, though, because I think that's some fun heat you could take forward still.
Right. And don't forget, SummerSlam in Cleveland. He might be carrying that belt at least to Cleveland, right?
Right, and he's from Cleveland, right? So him doing the thing of being from Cleveland and doing the thing like, I got out of here with the belt, that makes a lot of sense.
Women's Championship match, Bayley versus Sky.
Bayley, yeah.
Let's go Bayley. Yep. World Heavyweight Championship match. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre.
I think Drew McIntyre is going to get in there and have a good time. I think Drew McIntyre is going to win.
I agree. I think Drew's been shining a ton lately. I think he's been a lot of fun.
I think he'll be a fun
this
champion.
Belt for a while now. Seth's had this belt since they introduced it. I think
Seth has been fantastic with it too. I think he's been the right champion up until they found someone that's a good replacement. And Drew McIntyre is the right guy at the right time.
And finally, does the story get finished? Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes.
Nope. Bottom of the 4th.
No. No.
Yeah, I think so. At this point, what are they? God, if they don't, imagine.
No, come on.
Imagine. Oh, boy.
Did you see that? Like, The Rock was at some, like, fan event with the crowd, and there's, like, some little girl was yelling at him. Rock's like, "Oh, you're a Cody Rhodes fan." And she's like, "Why do you think you should get a title match?" And Rock's like, "Because I'm the final boss and I'm the great one." And then she's like, "If you wanted a title match, you should have entered the Royal Rumble." And then even The Rock kind of starts laughing. It's great. All right.
I'm looking forward to this, though. Sounds like it's going to be a good time.
Rich Raw 908 says XB, I assume Xbox, is disrespectful. It should be ashamed. Unreal. Wait, who's XB?
Xbox?
Is Xbox disrespectful? It should be ashamed, or somebody else XB? Who should be ashamed of their words?
Xylophone Boy.
Disrespectful because it's not giving us 60 FPS.
Oh, it's about the FPS thing. I think they're being sarcastic. That makes way more sense. I hope they're being sarcastic. Antonioni says Mario 64/Sunshine both have some of the best movement and feel, yet they run at 30 FPS. Games though can be exceptional and better than games with twice the frames. Yeah, even Sunshine, though, at the time was criticized for only being 30 FPS, and it kind of shouldn't be. Like the original demo they showed was at 60 FPS, right?
And a lot of games on GameCube ran at 60 frames per second.
Right.
So
and look, like Mario Galaxy feels better than Sunshine.
And
I think the high frame rate's a part of that.
And yeah, Mario 64 and Sunshine, I do agree. Those games feel good.
They felt great.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's Nintendo. Like they're
It's Nintendo.
I mean, and part of that's my bias is what I'm saying, and part of it is they're better at that than a lot of other studios. They just are. Mario 64 does not feel choppy in the way like Fallout 3 on console felt choppy. Like it's just something different is happening there.
And then Goldie says, going to Ohio this weekend. Is there a restaurant I should try? I'm doing all the tourist stuff. NFL and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, picture outside of Mike's house, etc. So you're going to be in Canton and Cleveland at least. Canton, I don't know. Not much about Canton, to be honest. Cleveland, though, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you'll be pretty close to the Flats. Collision Bend is a great brewery and restaurant there. Also a very good seafood restaurant called Lindy's. There's a Margaritaville there, of course. Closer downtown is East 4th Street, where Michael Simon, the Iron Chef, has a great barbecue restaurant called Maples. Also a very good brewery across the street from that called Butcher and the Brewer. Get the Albino Stout. It's incredible. Then if you go to the west side of Cleveland, you'll find Great Lakes Brewery, which is another brewery. It's the biggest local brewery in the area. They have a very good restaurant there also. And there's a lot of other breweries and fun things in that west side area, including 16-Bit, which is an arcade bar, and a very good ice cream place called Mitchell's. So those are kind of my hot spots.
It's a good list. Mike's right. Go to all those places. And then Goldie, I'll get you in the Discord. My wife has been in Canton a bunch of times recently, and so I'll see what she has recommendations she has for that area, because I think she has some good places.
FBI agent says, I just wrecked my room after the Hellblade 30 FPS announcement. I understand. It's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to go Citizen Kane on that shit.
Listen, you didn't hurt anybody. That's what matters. But you acted out with violence, and you have to.
So try harder.
Yes.
Epic Wallpaper says, beat Shipwreck 64 and Road 96 while listening. Love you guys. Love you too. Epic. Thank you very much. Derek says, what are the chances we hear about Monolith's Wonder Woman game this year? What year might it release? I'm very excited for that game, man. I have no idea. They said there's something recently that led us to believe that that's going to be a live service game too. And that's
part of me thinks that was just the CFO not knowing what the fuck he was talking about.
Maybe it must be. Like, how is that going to be? I mean, remember that this is the company that did make that second Mordor game a live service game, kind of, or at least had weird like they made loot boxes out of like getting orc friends. Remember how fucked up that was?
Right.
Yep.
That was weird as fuck.
It was an interesting time.
Yeah, and we'll see. I bet they let things cool off with Suicide Squad a little bit before they start talking about that. So they probably talk about it later this year, unless they already had plans to put it in some showcase this summer.
Let's see here now. Next one is from I went down actually.
Epic Wallpapers, right?
Epic
Yeah.
There it is. Thank you. Yeah. Twilight Princess Wind Waker HD for Switch is canceled. I eated it. Well done.
Damn it,
everyone.
There he is. Epic Wallpapers. Get at him.
Tasty, though?
El Grug says, in honor of Gamera 2000, check out the FMV cutscenes for Steel Harbinger on PS1. The game itself is mid, but the cutscenes are so bad, it's good. Yeah, that's why Gamera 2000 rules. It's a whole package. You have the wild FMV cutscenes and a fun game.
And a really fun game, yeah. I'll try to beat that here soon, everybody. So tune back in soon. I'll let you know.
Prinny Dude says, people are acting like multiple streamers and posters didn't choose to play Rebirth in 30 FPS because they want their nostalgia game looking the best. Hellblade 2 outrage is just because it's Xbox related. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily in Xbox only thing. Right, like I remember Final Fantasy 16 was criticized on PS5 because its frame rate wasn't very high or steady, even on a performance mode.
And like, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth does have the option. So the people that don't care can play it in 30, and the people that do care just played it at the higher frame rate. So, I mean, I think that's all we're saying.
Mikey O'Leary said, Mike, I decided to do run Disney's 5K in January, but I'm 39 and live a sedentary gamer life, so I'm fully prepared to get Code Grandma while binge-hogging Epcot. Yeah, I know. Dan's like, oh, let's do it. I'm like, that'd be fun. I'm so far. Maybe I need to get off my ass a little bit, but my brother did it one time. I hope he doesn't mind me telling this story. His nipples got very chafed and started bleeding, so he kind of had bloody nipples partway through the Disney thing. I won't say which brother. There we go. That's fair. Either one of them could have had the bloody nipples.
It's great because now people can assume it's either one whenever they need to.
There you go. One of them. Yeah.
Oh man.
Red nips.
You guys say the bloody nipples, number one reason I don't do any running for like marathons or anything like that. Because I know that's a real thing that happens to a lot of people. And I don't need that.
I don't think it would happen to me. My brothers have dry skin. I never have. You remember this in Boston, right? Everybody's like, "Oh, it's so dry. Everyone's dry. Quick, pass the chapstick." And I was like, "I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm just very moist."
Yeah. We all felt your hand, and it was like so weirdly soft. You had the softest skin I've ever.
Over there, your Mystery Science 3000ing is out of control.
I was about to say, do you skip one? I think you skip one. Adam GC that says this one is honor of you for being two righteous dudes. I don't think you read that.
You're right. I did miss that one. Wow. Thank you, Christian. I'm glad no one's ever here telling you to be quiet. Adam GC said this was an honor of you for being two righteous dudes. Thank you, Adam GC. I appreciate it. Thank you, Christian. Next one here is from Flimlam Mandrew. Says Mike is making mythologies his Mitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are.
Willow Davis says, I miss the world when it still had 60 FPS left in it. How excited is it going to be when it's Christmas time? We can just watch that commercial
constantly. I still have it open in like a tab over here and like play it every once in a while.
How is that, man? I've restarted my computer probably 6 times since we did that.
Yummy fruity pebbles in a bowl.
Oh, here comes you know who. Oh, incredible. Burrito says, hi, guys. Just showing appreciation. Keeping awesome. Thank you so much, Burrito. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Burrito.
Michael James says, went to Kyoto and buy Nintendo. Jumping the wall and getting past security was easy. The Japanese to say Earthbound 3 was hard. Oh, it's not as easy. It's got to say, turns out the Japanese word for Earthbound is mother. So it's got to do that.
Mother 3.
It's a stupid question, but like, is the name in Japan, like we say in Japanese, did they just say mother or do they say the Japanese word for mother?
I don't think it's a stupid question. I don't have an answer for you.
Maybe you choose mother.
Might just be mother.
I believe
But I'm
mother's
pretty
on
sure
the
it's just
box
mother.
art, so they would just say the English word mother,
Right.
but you know, with
I
an
was
accent.
I know they use a lot of English words because, like, you know, like you'll hear like a commercial for like a Final Fantasy game and they'll say like a bunch of Japanese and you'll hear like Final Fantasy and I'm like, oh, I thought you had words for Final and Fantasy, but that's nice too. Next one is from Chris. First one, thank you so much, Chris. Just $5 for two dudes who are so cute together and are fun to hang out with digitally. Ooh, we're kawaii.
That's what I say.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go upstairs and tell my wife and kids I'm kawaii.
Yeah, I like that. Dorati says, imagine being mad at something called Sweet Baby. It is incredible.
Yep.
It's incredible.
Just imagining the most vicious, evil people ever at Sweet Baby. They shit posted and it made me mad.
This person said that they don't like gamers.
Yeah, right.
That's what they're mad about.
Yeah, this person said it would suck if I was a white male gamer, and I took it seriously and I crapped my pants.
Power Glove says, hello, Beef and Cheddar boys. My name is, in fact, Power Glover. Oh, Power Glover, since you asked, and no, my parents, wait a second. My parents have no idea about the Nintendo peripheral with the same name. Love you guys. Play Captain Toad, you cowards.
I'm choosing to believe this.
Here.
I choose to believe. Here it is. This is my friend, Mr. Power Glover.
Christian, you have my permission to talk. Go ahead.
You expected me to like not talk about this? What did you into us? Stop it.
I don't think your name's Power. I want to see a birth certificate, damn it.
Oh no, Mike Minotti is a truther.
Ali Miracle says, if I ever visit the Midwest, I am paying Mikey as a tour guide. That'd be fun. Remember, like, the guy who Kramer was based off of just did tours in New York forever?
Did he really? I'm not surprised to hear that. That's very funny.
It's like the most Kramer thing ever. And then Antonioni says, input lag in animation has a lot to do with feel rather than just frames. Galaxy feels better than Sunshine. You are on this week, brother. What do you think, Jeff? Which one do you think feels better, Galaxy or Sunshine?
Galaxy. What? Are you kidding me? What? Galaxy is one of the best feeling games ever made.
Okay, like Sunshine feels very good also.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really don't have any complaints, but I think Galaxy feels better.
Yeah, and part of that is I could see the frames. I could see the difference. Like, yeah. There are games that like solve this by like having a, for lack of a better term, because I'm not a game developer, a tick rate of 60 frames per second, even though they're not like rendering 60 frames per second. So like the motion is being calculated in the background for 60 frames per second. That helps. That's
it. Thank you so much for all the super chats, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple of games coming up.
Yes, we do. We're going to get to those right after a quick break. We'll get set up. So we'll have, we are going to pick our favorite games of 2019, but I think we have an update on what's been happening with the Metacritic League.
Yeah. We also have an update from Power Glover in the Super Chat says, I have a Facebook account if you really want to verify. This is my Christian name. What are the odds that a guy named Power Glover is in our video game podcast? Look.
Power Glover, I believe you, and I
believe you too.
I'll say
now.
it. I think Mike's being very hateful.
I've been won over. You're right. I believe now. I believe.
Power Glover, regardless, just an incredible name, no matter what.
It's good. It's good. I love the Power Glove. Did anybody ever say, I love Power Glover? He's so bad.
Well, you just did. There it is.
Yeah, somebody, I can't be the first. There's no way. Somebody else has had to quote the wizard to you.
I bet that was Power Glover's spouse's vows. 100% that was in the vows.
What's Power Glover's wife's name?
Mattel.
Assuming that she took his name.
You Force Glover.
Gotta love the Glover.
Gotta love the Glover.
Jim Ross says it. Gotta love the glove.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Like I said, when we get back, we'll get set up for some fun games and new topics right after this, everybody.
Get your little stuffy in here. I think I'm gonna.
I still don't.
We are on one this episode, but not in that regard.
Oh, here,
I'm holding up.
Empty beer bottle under here.
Oh, look.
He couldn't throw that away himself when he was over here the other day. Hey, guess what? It was Chris. He's the one with the bloody nipples.
Oh, shit.
Oh, we knew.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we knew.
Yeah.
That's what you get for leaving your garbage on my floor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this chair's still here, too.
Oh, my God.
What a mess.
Christian was like in a mood earlier. Now Mike, it is transferred to Mike.
I wasn't in the mood.
Not like a bad mood. You were just you were on one.
In the mood.
You were on one.
Yeah, the titular one, the proverbial one. You were on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who. Fruity Pebbles and
I didn't saw anything of that Twitter thing because I saw a bad tweet and bad anime tweet and it hurt me so much I had to turn off Twitter.
I'm sorry, buddy.
That's a good idea,
The
though.
rest of the day. It hurt
Okay.
me. Hurt me in my brain. It was about One Piece.
You know who.
What was it? It was about One Piece. That people were arguing about One Piece not being political, and one person, which One Piece is very political.
Yes.
And one person was like, "Well, Luffy only fights the fascists because the fascists fuck with his friends and his like the people he likes. Like they do fascist thing about against him. If they were fascists, he wouldn't fight the fascists." I'm like, "Yeah, motherfucker."
The reason that most people get involved with politics because it affects their personal friends and family. Yeah, weird.
It's not inherently political. You just happen to.
He never ran for mayor. Actually, 1,000 fucking issues. Did he ever run for mayor? He probably did.
Probably at some point.
At some point. Okay. I think this is looking good now. Sean, you're not gonna like F11 or anything like that's what it looks like?
Nope, that's what it looks like.
Okay, cool. Great. Then we are set up.
All right.
Man.
I love fucking political discussions.
It is the thing I like about Andor so much is that is the like how the characters are political. Like it's all in a bunch of different, very tiny ways, and it's all really personal.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what makes that show so good. So to hear people just talking that way, I'm like, oh, you idiot, you buffoon.
Like I hated the whole like back in the day media literacy or like you need to read more into the thing you watch. I was like, and nowadays I'm like, fuck. I think they were right.
It could make things better. It could make it more fun, more deep, especially as you get older.
Yeah.
Incredible gist we got here.
That's the problem.
What'd you say, Mike?
Incredible gist we got here. What'd you think I said?
Incredible jizz we have here.
Yeah,
No.
I still think that's what you're saying.
It does sound a lot like what you're saying.
I genuinely don't know
Did
what
you
you're
say
saying if it's not
gist?
that.
Jeff, the GIF.
Jeff.
I don't know.
Oh, because he's a weirdo.
Yeah, he's doing that. Okay.
Okay.
I hate
got
you.
Oh my god.
I don't care anymore, Mike, but it does bother me.
It's like the frame rate. Okay, I get it.
All right, we can bring the show back in.
Let's go. Yeah.
And we're back, and we're going to do the Game Mess Open Critic Predictions, Q1 results, and Q2 predictions. I promise it's more interesting than that title makes it sound like, which is like a press conference where we're going to show charts, which we are, but it's fun.
It's going to be great.
Sean, can you take this over?
I sure can, Ron Burgundy. So if anyone is tuning into the show for the first time, or you just haven't in the past 3 months, every quarter, a community member, the Uncharted Wolf, is very nice and puts together this little game that the boys play, and our Patreon producers can also play over in the Discord. Is executive produced by Bop, who is apparently a giant nerd, and then me. I don't know what the hell I did other than present. So thanks for the credit. The rules, as it so, God, that fucking gif of you jerking off.
I forgot
the rules
about that.
are that the Game Mess was given a list of 12 different games coming out in the first quarter of 2024 with the task of predicting their Open Critic scores, and the score is determined by its top critic average on Open Critic. Whoever was closest to the final score in the community, both in the community and versus the boys, gets 1 point, and if they predict the score exactly right, they get 2 points. And if you didn't think a game would come out by the end of the first quarter, you would say will not release, and you would get double the points. So first, let's get to the results of the Q1 predictions. So going down the line here, Jeff picked first, and then they alternated from there on out. Game number 1 is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, where Jeff picked 85, and spoiler, Mike won with a prediction of 86. The actual score is 90. So very high score there. Mike was closer. Mike gets 1 point.
Sean, real quick,
winners,
just like for a fantasy critic, if a game gets over 90, right, you get double points. I know this is not fantasy critic. Did this game count for that or not? Do you know? Did you pick
No,
this?
because it's 90. So it should have just,
Okay.
It would
91.
be 91, I believe.
Okay.
Or, well, because they do go by the decimal point, it would be like, 90.1 or whatever.
Okay.
However, it would but it should be 91 will get you the double points.
Cool.
Anywho, community winners on that one were Bench, Adam Juice, and Ben 7, who all got exactly right with 90. Very nice.
Wow.
Congratulations.
I would have thought that was high, but very well.
Game number 2 was Tekken 8, where Mike said 84 and Jeff said 83. Mike wins because it was another 90. Very nicely done there. Bugadillo, Low Rule, both predicted 89, and then Mark predicted 91. So split the difference. They all get a point there.
We've both been lowballing. I just been lowballing less, and it's been working out for me.
Yeah, I think we just didn't realize how much this year was going to be cooking.
Yeah, good game so far. Game number 3, Persona 3 Reload, where Jeff said 90 and Mike said 89. And Mike wins yet again because it was slightly lower at an 88. And a whole bunch of people in the community said 88. If your name is on screen right now, you got 2 points. Very nicely done there.
Congrats to Mark.
Good.
I'm going to just call it one name.
Game number 4, Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. Mike said a very nice 69. Jeff Price is right at him with 68. It was 59.
Wow.
On Open Critics, so Jeff gets 1 point there.
I am very curious to see that Screaming Madden got it exactly right with a 59.
Screaming Madden with 59.
Wow.
That is skill right there.
Man, 59 for that game. Jesus.
Oh, Chris is in chat. 59 is like Chris's magic number that he sees there. Chris, I was talking about your bleeding nipples earlier.
Yeah, he was
like,
there.
It's like Justin Wong with 37. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Game number 5, Helldivers 2. Jeff said 82, Mike said 80, and it was 83. So Jeff was closer. Gets 1 point there. Cryoris, Cyclone, and Fusion all got exactly right with 83. So 2 points.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like that's one of the most positively talked about games of the year, and it's lower than quite a few of these.
Right. I think some of those early reviews were, pinged for connection issues, network issues.
The classic.
Yep.
Game number 6, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, the remake here. Mike said 72, Jeff said 73. It was a little bit higher than that at a 77, so Jeff gets 1 point. And then Lewis AG, Alma Sleep, Fish and Love, and Low Rule all got exactly right with 77.
How'd you catch up?
I
I had
don't
a
know.
3-point lead. I'm blowing it.
Yep. 3 unanswered points.
What the hell?
Game number 7, Skull and Bones, finally comes out. Jeff predicted a very nice 69. Mike predicted 65. It was 60 on OpenCritic.
Can't believe that game comes out and it's still only a 60 after all of those delays.
All that.
Yeah, development hell.
I
That's
used to
usually
assume
good
like
for a game.
you can't delay it that many times and not at least get a 70. Come on.
Yeah. Bench, Jamie H, Monogrim, Fish and Love, and Warren Curtis all got it exactly right with a 60.
Nice.
Round number, so that makes sense. Here we have Mike and Jeff's original Skull and Bones prediction from January 3rd, 2023.
From a year ago.
I'm going to say 82.
I think the first game was around there, and I bet they're going to improve this one. I'm going to go 86.
Okay.
That's my favorite number, apparently. I think I have a lot of 86s. Skull and Bones. Ooh. I wish I didn't go first on this one. I do think it comes out. I'll say 80. Right on.
I'll say 78.
80
Wow.
and 78 there, huh?
Well, we wised up a little bit.
I can't believe that I have my a shaved beard at that time in this video, too.
God.
Incredible.
Oh boy. Game number 8 was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Mike went with an 87. Jeff went with 86. You're both a decent amount off there because it was a 93
Let's go.
on OpenCritic.
Let's go.
Mike wins that one, gets 1 point.
That's
Nick
good,
Turbo,
guys.
Clink, Bop, Laser Wolf, and Low Roll all said 93. So shouts to them for getting those points. Game number 9 was Alone in the Dark. Jeff predicted a 70. Mike said 68. It was low at 63. So Mike gets that point. Cyclin said 62 and Leah said 64. So they both get 1 point for being close.
I still have not seen like a screenshot of this video game. It's out now, and I still don't think it's real.
I've had it. I got a code for it like weeks before it came out. I never touched it. We should just play it on Giant
I'm
Bomb.
very curious what everyone's problem with this game is because I saw someone streaming it just in passing. I was like, it looked okay. Like it looked like mediocre modern Resident Evil. So I'm genuinely curious what's wrong with it.
The New Game Plus folks played it and they were like, it's okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Which I guess 60s
63 is
okay.
that is the okay, but not like far from good, right? That's what
Yeah.
63 is.
Right. Yeah. Game number 10 was Dragon's Dogma 2, where Mike said 85 and Jeff said 86. It did go a little high at 88, so Jeff gets 1 point there. And then in the community, Adam, Juice, Clink, Joyzy, Klaus, Vision 49, Lewis, AG all got the extra point with an 88 prediction.
Yeah, saying it went a little high is right.
We've had no spot ons yet, Mike. Neither of us have got it
we've been
exactly
close.
right.
We've been very close.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing's spot on yet.
Game number 11, Princess Peach Showtime. Jeff said 79, Mike said 81, and it went a little low with 76. So Jeff gets 1 point, and Razzle Jazzled and Bugadillo in the community get 2 points with their spot on predictions.
Okay, so far I got 3 points, then you came right back with 3 points, and I came right back with another 3 points. You got 2 points in a row right now. If you get another point, it's just insane.
That's just the pattern, so I'm assuming so.
No.
Shit!
Game number 12, Rise of the Ronin. Mike said 76. Jeff went with 75. Our first spot on from the boys there. Mike got 2 points with his prediction of 76. It was 76. And Zubmer and Mark also got exactly right with 76 in the community.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. I never played a moment of this game. Let's go.
I'm sorry. Mike
Which means that Mike wins 8-5.
Yeah.
What's up, Christian?
Sorry, Mike was punching at the camera, but in the tiny box on the overlay, it looked like he was doing something else with his hands.
Did you say it looked like I was jerking off a cock already? God.
Well, all right. Anyways, I am now going to slowly scroll through the entirety of the community results as I bant a little bit here, so that way everyone can take a look at what their scores were in the community on the video version. And in the end, congratulations to Lewis AG and Fish and Love for winning this quarter.
Well done.
More congrats to me. I won. I did very well. I'm a hero.
Yeah, sure. They only get points if they get it exactly right? Or like, I guess... If
No, the same rules apply. If they're the closest out of everyone.
Right, but they're competing against the crowd, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's much more difficult in the community. So nicely done there.
Well done.
All right, let's get on to quarter 2 predictions,
excited.
shall we?
Time for my
Same
revenge.
rules as before, but for quarter 2. Deadline for the community is when the first game gets reviews, which I guess we'll see. I don't know if these are in chronological order or not. I think they might be because I know the first game is coming up soon. So Mike's victory has him going first, and then you will go back and forth from there. Sound good?
No, I need some time to do some research.
No,
No,
oh my
you don't.
God. Holy shit! I'm curious because there's.
We're gonna
I feel
put
like,
this again.
what games are even coming out this quarter? Let's see. I'm curious.
Let's
to
take
find
a
out.
look.
That thing and that other thing.
Game number 1,
Oh,
Aiden
Jesus.
Chronicle 100 Heroes, Mikey.
Oh, that's rough. God, I want to believe. I did not like that first game they released, which I know was like a Kickstarter stretch goal side game. I thought that was pretty disappointing. It's so hard just trying to be Suikoden 2 again. I know they had the original guy involved. Rest in peace. I want to believe, but I don't know if I believe that much. I want to say it's going to be a 77.
Okay, Jeff.
That sucks because I wanted to do like 79 and hope that Mike would go with like a low 80, and I would have felt really good about that. I'll go with I'll go with the 79. What the hell? I'll have some faith.
I kind of wish I had the higher of it, to be honest. Now.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
All right. Game number 2, Tales of Kenzaru Zao. Jeff. Or Kenzera.
Yeah, Kinsera Zhao. This is another tough one. I've heard really good things about this game. But I'm kind of with Mike. Do I believe Jan? Can we ever believe Jan Achilla, really? I'm going to go with an 82.
Okay.
I do believe Janicho. I will go with an incredibly brave and different 83.
So, like I mentioned when we talked about that, I did play his demo, and it seems promising. I have high hopes, but I think you guys might be in the ballpark there. Game number 3, Sandland.
Oh, gosh. What is all these games of creators who recently passed away? Gosh, I wish I played this demo now. Nobody seemed blown away by that demo, at least from what I was kind of hearing. Everyone likes the way this game looks. They like the concept. I don't know how super in love with the overall thing everyone's going to be. I want to say I'll do a Cowards 80.
Okay, nice and round.
79.
79, just a little bit lower. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think it's going to be based on playing the demo. I think it's going to be lower than that.
Fair enough. All right, game number 4, everybody's favorite, Stellar Blade, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I'm glad Jeff's going first on this
fuck
one.
me.
No, that I think is what you're supposed to do when you play this game, apparently.
This is
Hi,
tough.
Twitter.
I feel like anything I go with, I'm not going to feel great about because it's like, I'm going to go with an 80.
Okay.
It's so hard. Just because I'm tired of the difference only being 1 point, I'll say an 82. What is that?
Let's be an 81. All
Yeah,
right.
right.
Game number 5, Homeworld 3, Mike.
Okay, man. People really like Homeworlds, but it's been a while. It's been a while. Is it going to have a Baldur's Gate 3 kind of comeback, right? Don't know. I don't think it's like getting in the 90s. It could be in the 70s. It's probably in the 80s. I'll say an 84.
Okay.
I think that this game is going to have a strong self-selection bias among the reviewers, and so I'm going to go.
It's an RTS, by the way. Excuse me. Sorry, I know it's an RTS. That wasn't an exact comparison to Baldur's Gate 3. Give me a break. Go ahead, Jeff.
He just meant an old game franchise that was coming back.
I'm yelling at chat.
I'm going to go with an 88. I think this game's going to do very well with reviewers.
Okay.
I mean, it's always one of those cases where who do you think's going to review this game?
That's what I'm saying. You got self-selection bias, yeah.
All right. Game number 6,
Oh,
30
God.
FPS. What do you think, Jeff?
Senua Saga, Hellblade 2. Oh, boy. Senua. How old am I?
Senua,
You want to
right?
try it one more time, Mike?
Yes, Senua.
Yes, this is tough.
Oh, Capacitor just meant that RTSs don't review well. Capacitor, I'm sorry for yelling at you.
I'm going to go with an 87.
Okay.
How'd the first game do? I think the first game was in the high 70s.
It's sold. I mean, it reviewed well. Critics like these games, right?
Look
Man,
it up, Jeff.
No, I'm not allowed.
they look it up now.
Hey, you guess. Now you can look.
Man, in a world where Starfield got pretty good reviews at first, anyways, I think it. God, an 88, really? I know it's not gonna be an 88 for me, right? Jeff, you said an 87. God, that's hard. God, I wish I had 87. That sounds great.
Right. It's like right in that zone where I think this game is going to end up.
That's such a good one, Jeff.
Thank you.
That's a great
I thought
guess.
so. That's why I said it.
I wish I could have that. I'll go 88. I'll go 88.
You can. I think, is this the game where you can select the same one?
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I think that's only closest to the messy pit. Actually, I don't think we can.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Do we know what Senua's Sacrifice has?
I do. I'm not fucking telling this guy. What are you talking about?
I already said 88. One above you.
Oh, you did. I didn't listen to him. I was only listening to the part where he said my score was very good. 84. I got an 84 on Open Critic.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, 80.
I mean 86.
No, this game is going to review better than the first one.
Yeah.
30 FPS strikes again. Paper Mario: 1,000-Year Door, Mikey.
92. This game freaking rules. This remake looks good. This game is going to review well. This game's going to blow people away of how good it still is. Yeah. Don't even care about the frame rate anymore. I've gotten over it for this one. Let's go. 1,000-Year Door.
Yeah, this is another one that's going to have that self-selection bias, too, because the people that like this game know they like it. I'll go with 90. I'll go with 90. Go 2 away.
A little bit lower. Fair enough. Game number 8, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. So the expanded / golden royal what have you version of the game. All right, Jeff, tell me a score.
Listen, I don't know what it is, so I was feeling frightened, so I have to be mean.
Can we kick Jeff from this call?
I do like the logo, how like I like how like the Roman numeral V has like this drop shadow that then becomes an actual V for vengeance. That's cute.
Yeah. That is, I do like that as well. It's
graphic design.
Based on that alone, it'll get an 82. The coward's number.
Interesting. Okay.
85. The SMT freaks are real.
I wish I would have known what the original Shin Megami Tensei got. You fucking 85, of course. God damn it.
I heard that they're adding heart in Vengeance, so it's gonna really pop off now.
All right, the next one's a little bit interesting. Game number 9 is Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree, the expansion. Michael.
It'll be high. It's gonna be high. How high? It is just expansion. People are gonna freak out.
Be high.
I think 95. I think people are gonna lose their mind.
Ooh, bold. Okay.
That's the right number because, like, how can it like? It could go 96.
It's just gonna be more the same.
But it is halfway between 9 and 10.
It's gonna be more the same, and they're gonna do like 1 or 2 things that do surprise people. That's gonna make them like freak out.
I feel like I have to go 96, but should I just go 94 to be? Which one's safer? I honestly don't know.
Well, which one is safer? It's a hard question. Maybe we should go. Maybe we should play it really safe and say 80.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I should do. I'm gonna go with. You don't win anything. I'm gonna go 96. This game's all made up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For what's worth, I would say the safer route would have been 94.
Oh, I think 94 is safer as well. But I
appreciate the boldness. Yes. I appreciate it. And then we have game number 10, last one here, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, Jeff.
I mean, this one's between a 95 and a 96 as well, right? All right, let's think.
10 million plus?
I think that they will make some improvements enough to get this game up to a big, fat, juicy 8-0.
Oh, okay.
Man, I would have wanted to say 70s, but even that Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake got a 77, which seemed surprisingly high to me. So it could still be like a 79. I think an 81 will be safer.
81. All right, got it. Well, we have everyone's predictions in here. Let me reformat this really quickly. And if I have everything lined up, you should be able to see it on screen now.
Man, nothing in the 60s this time.
Yeah.
I guess that usually doesn't happen.
Might actually be a decent quarter in gaming. I'll just run through this very quickly for the audio listeners who might not be able to see this. The predictions go as follows. Aiden Chronicle, 100 Heroes. Jeff says 79. Mike says 77. Tales of Kinzar Zhao, Jeff says 82, and Mike says 83. Sandland, Jeff says 79, Mike says 80. Stellar Blade, Jeff says 80, Mike says 82. Homeworld 3, Jeff says 88, Mike says 84. Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Jeff says 87, Mike says 88. The Paper Mario Thousand Year Door Remake, Jeff says 90, Mike says 92. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, Jeff says 82, Mike says 85. Elden Ring Shadow the Erdtree, 2 high scores with Jeff saying 96 and Mike saying 95. And lastly, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, Jeff is going with 80, Mike's going slightly over at 81.
Awesome.
Always have fun with this.
Yeah, it's a fun game. I'm excited about it. Looking forward to see what happens. Man, Dark Moon got
and we will have
on
a
Metacritic.
thread up in the Discord for anyone who is a supporter and wants to participate in the game. So find the podcast producers channel. We'll get you everything you need from there.
All right. Do we have another game, or should we just go to Game of the Year for 2019?
Going into GOTY this year.
All right.
This episode.
You know what? Let's take a quick break while I just get set up on the document, and then we'll be right back after that. This, and that.
Wow.
All right. So
and that other thing over here and over there.
And then over there
Up and down.
behind
I'm really
that.
excited
thing.
about.
Behind and forward.
I'm going to kill it right away so you can get lined up, Jeff.
Yep. Go ahead.
Northeast.
And that's sweet when I won. That was fun. Let me see.
Did my memory is I won last quarter and you won the entire year, or was it reversed? It was,
thought you
no,
won.
it was the reverse. You won the year, Jeff.
okay, but Mike won the last quarter.
It was a tie. You guys tied quarters, and so you were slightly more accurate overall, Jeff.
Okay.
That's right. Exciting stuff.
All right. Well, this just sets me up for my comeback this year. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So there's
You gotta stop saying that word.
comeback.
You've inadvertently said like a lot of the C words.
Yeah, you said we all come at one point. It was very funny. I just keep doing it. Hey, look, you can't avoid saying the word come, and that's the
I'll just say this will be my jizz back then. That'll help.
There we go.
Yeah.
we all understand what you mean.
There
I'm
goes the
bringing
monetization.
Jizzy back.
Yeah, we're bringing Jizzy back.
It's about time.
Okay, almost ready. Why is this so small? It's because I made it small. That makes sense.
That'll do it. Harder than
That'll do it.
harder times.
Whenever somebody says that'll do it, I remember of that
Shrek?
the pig movie.
The pig. Oh, that'll do, pig. Babe.
That'll do pig.
Yeah,
Babe.
the George
okay,
Miller
that's where it's
classic.
from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That'll do it.
That'll
Okay.
do, pig.
Browser.
That'll do.
This is what happened when you learn English from movies and The Simpsons. Every phrase is a reference.
I like that. Yeah, you're like, did you ever see the episode of Star Trek Next Generation where the aliens only talk in metaphor? It's like that. Darmok, Angelad, at Tanagra.
When the wall fell.
Yeah.
Oh,
His eyes open.
There it is. Okay, we're set up. I'm bringing it back.
Let's do it.
Mike Minotti, tell me what the best game of 2019 was, you dumb bitch.
It's Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringers. Yeah, it's an expansion. Don't give a shit. It's the best expansion ever. So freaking good. This was part of the reason why this game had its massive blow up in like the middle of its third expansion. Part of it was because serendipitously, World of Warcraft was in a real rough spot. And then everyone's like, hey, you know what's real good right now? Final Fantasy 14, because this Shadowbringer expansion has the best narrative of any MMO ever, one of the best narratives ever, incredible characters, an awesome world to explore, one of the all-time great soundtracks from Soken, who just does nothing but great soundtracks. This is probably his best one. 2 great new classes with the Dancer and the Gunblade. God, Shadowbringers rules. It's I can't imagine anything ever being a better MMO expansion.
Is this the time when everyone was doing the meme about it's free to level 60?
Yes.
It's got a free trial. Oh,
Yeah. The whole everything about Shadowbringers popping off, and like the game, first the expansion just came out, like all people playing it were stunned by how good it was, but then like throughout time, so many people went over. In fact, Yoshi P like shared a slide at the PAX panel. I think he shared it before, like showing like new players. And the jump from the previous expansion to this one, there were just so many people who flocked over to it. Hey, we also had that Nier Automata raid during all of this too. That was fun.
I'm like looking at the games came out this year, and this is gonna get into the time where it's gonna be really annoying because everyone who's listening it was definitely playing games at this point, and they're gonna have their own opinions, and I don't need that. I just don't need it.
Yeah, we don't need your opinions. Is this about why? Is this about not liking Sekiro's that much? Because I have that problem.
No. I love Sekiro. It's probably going to make the list, Mike. Surprise, surprise.
Okay.
But it's about Outer Wilds. I think I'll put Outer Wilds on here, and I know the people that know. If you know, you know. And then there's going to be a lot of people like, why is this on there? I've never played that, so it's not a good game, and I just don't want to deal with that. But Outer Wilds fucking rules. It is one of those games that gives you just enough to to figure out some problems, and you come back to the game, and then you have to figure it out on your own. It has an incredible physics system of this actual clockwork moving solar system. Each planet is so unique. The first time that I went to the messed up weather system planet, where you just like you crash land on the planet, and there's these giant, massive, like 100-meter tall tornadoes that are in the ocean, and if it goes over you when you've like landed in the ocean, it'll suck you up and throw you back into space, and that shit owns so hard. And then you get to a point where you've played through this loop over and over again. It's a time loop game. You play through the loop so many times that you kind of become a master of this clockwork universe, and you understand exactly what you need to do to accomplish this goal in the right amount of time. It's a good successor to Majora's Mask. It's a good successor to a lot of like early space exploration games, and it honestly was like a good spiritual successor at the time to what I felt about Breath of the Wild, where it's like, here's a game that lets you just mess around with the world and figure things out on your own, and it works the way you expect it to work. And it's such a good game. Outer Wilds.
Of all the games I haven't played, I think this is one I feel almost the worst about. It's very high up there. It's definitely on
I tell you what, it's a
you.
really good summer game. It's a really good kick back, having a summer beer, feeling the like summer camp vibes of the game.
Summer beers,
which it definitely has. Where it's like you're meeting aliens by campfires, and they're always in like woodsy areas on these moons. It's so cool.
Resident Evil 2, the remake, came out in 2019. I actually finally played through all of this just last October. Gosh, it is incredible. It's one of those remakes where you took the classic, and it is just this very, very like high fidelity glow up in a way that does feel new. So like the original is still the original. This doesn't replace it. So it has like modern conveniences, right? It is like third person now. There's no tank controls. It's kind of, it's a bit easier to navigate. But they're very smart about like what things they should keep, like the limited inventory, like the fun way you have like these two characters, and like even playing them in different orders can change things. The ammo scarcity, even just like the old school kind of puzzle design from the old Resident Evil games. The Raccoon City Police Department is just an all-time great locale in a video game, and it looks so freaking cool here. Just one of the all-time great remakes. This is like, I think we talked before about how Resident Evil 7 was kind of the start of the Capcom Renaissance, and this right here was like a big, like, oh yeah, they are just having a moment right now, and we're still in the midst of it.
Yeah, I love Resident Evil 2 as well. I think it's the game that matches up scary and fun. I think the best for me. I think I still find it pretty frightening when I was playing it, and I also find it so appealing, and everything you're doing is like, you're right about the puzzles. Like, they kept so much of the charm of what a Resident Evil game should be, while also making it feel like one of the most modern video games ever released. So they just nailed everything with that game. It's very good.
Yep, exactly.
I think the next one I probably would put on here would be Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. This is the From game that I really got into first. It is the challenge was the appeal at first. I'm like, I want to see if I can overcome this. And then when you start to get into the flow of the combat, and and you're fighting against awesome bosses that basically have all the same skill set that you do. And I really like that in a game. I like a boss that's just like, no, I obey the same rules that you do. In fact, I'm going to use some of the moves that you use because I was previously your sensei or whatever, and now I'm going to use that stuff against you. And being able to go head to head with a character like that is very cool. And then learning their patterns and kind of like a punch out boss fight, and having them stab you and doing the awesome parry where you step on their weapon and then you can just get in their ass and fuck them up. It is one of the coolest feeling games. And then it has great moments like the guy on the kite flying down and shocking you out of nowhere. There's so much cool stuff like that. Sekiro is still a standout for me, and it's one that I've been thinking about going back to more and more because it is that first love that I had with FromSoft.
Yeah, I don't really know why I wasn't super drawn into it. I think I just do need to go back and give that one another go.
I think it's one where it's like eventually you will line up with it.
Yeah. We're talking about Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion 3 came out in 2019. Kind of a banner game for the Game Pass for some reason.
Yep. It's on our flag.
What a glow up, right?
Yes.
This was always like a pretty good series, and then Luigi's Mansion 3 was awesome. Setting it in the hotel was really smart because you have this one building, but these different floors, and each floor kind of feels like a level. Incredible boss designs during this one. Just fun walking around. So many things to get. Gooigi, we got Gooigi. Love Luigi Mansion 3. One of the best Switch games.
Yeah, it's a combination of incredible animation. So just technologically, it's one of the most impressive Switch games. Honestly, one of the most impressive games of the generation. It shows what you can do.
The animation is so
when
good.
you focus on animation over all this other fidelity stuff, it is like a living game in a lot of ways. And then it's got really fun mechanics. There's a part where you get kind of like a buzzsaw chainsaw thing, and you're cutting apart everything in a room, and everything bursts apart in such a satisfying way. And then of course you get the vacuum. You can vacuum everything up, and that feels great. It's a game that feels good to play. It looks so good, and then it's got really good pacing. You're always moving on to the next interesting thing. So those three, if you check those three boxes, usually I'm going to be pretty happy. Let's see. I think I would actually go with Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, I was wondering if you would bring that one up.
Yeah, I like Star Wars Jedi a ton. This is another really good sort of FromSoft game, but it's more of the baby's first FromSoft game in a lot of ways, and I completely welcome that for an IP like Star Wars, where that makes sense. And then it's a Metroidvania. It's got the Metroid Prime map in it. I like the backtracking. I like discovering these worlds. I like connecting the shortcuts and feeling like the master of a 3D environment. And then I really fell in love with Cal Kestis. Something I did not expect to do. A huge part of that was the awesome team and the camaraderie around him that elevated him in a lot of ways. I thought the will they or won't they romance he has with the love interest, where it's and they leave that on an interesting note. I thought that was really touching. I'm a big fan of that. But everyone on the crew is so interesting and has such great personality. So a game that does story really, really well. And then it's just an awesome game to play. I think it's got decent combat to great combat. And then on top of that, I really like exploring the worlds.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I enjoyed Jedi Fallen Order quite a bit. Still need to beat Survivor. Definitely need to do that.
Same. Yep.
Oh, this one might be more of a me thing, but I really like River City Girls. This is a way forward beat 'em up. Might be my favorite beat 'em up. It has just fantastic feeling mechanics, fun juggling, just also a ton of fun character work. It's a very pretty looking sprite game. It's got good music. It's a fantastic couch co-op game because you can play to spurts. But if you want to be like that person, hey, we're gonna spend 5 hours, we're gonna play through this whole thing. It is so good for that. I don't know. This one's special to me. I still need to play the second one because that game launched in a rough state. So I guess I'm gonna wait. And I waited long enough. I hope it's working all right now.
And the rough state. 30 frames per second.
that was a game.
And that was unacceptable.
Needs to be.
They apologized publicly for that.
It was a mistake.
Yes.
Or something. Oh well.
That was weird. God, there's a bunch I could choose from. I think I'm gonna let the podcast producers maybe say some of those. So I'm gonna go with Fire Emblem Three Houses.
That would have been my next one too.
It is really, really good tactics. It's a strong Fire Emblem game. Really, though, it rides on the cast of characters and the really incredible storytelling that goes along with like you choosing your house and sticking with these characters and feeling ownership over them. I did the Blue Lions, which I think was by far the least popular of the three houses, and there's something like defiant in me about that, where I'm like, yeah, of course I did, and you
the
don't.
Cyclops team.
Yeah, exactly. You missed out. Like there's so many interesting twists and turns, and then you find out all the houses have awesome twists and turns. And it made me want to go back and play some of the other houses. I never did, because again, I felt such an ownership over Blue Lions. Part of me is like, oh, that'd be a betrayal at this point. But that's how this game can make you feel. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Three Houses. What did you like about it?
I mean, I love the actual Three Houses, and I'm not usually a person who replays these games, but I did do a choice because I did got the Empire people. I forget their house name first. Then I went back and did Golden Deer, and it's funny because like it's the same in a lot of ways, but it really did feel very different, just because so much of what makes Fire Emblem is that cast of characters. I think it also did the best job of the Fire Emblem games in terms of like trying to add that kind of persona level social stuff in there.
Yep.
And it felt really interesting. I'm glad they got away from just trying to be Awakening again, as much as I love that.
Having the school as the backdrop and making it classes and stuff like that was a good idea. Good system.
You run around the school and there's all these other things to do. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite Fire Emblems. Still the best Fire Emblem game on the Switch.
Okay, do you have anything else you want to mention, or should I go with the podcast producers?
Well, I do want to mention Kingdom Hearts 3, which I still think is a good game. I'm not going to try to get it on this list, but I like Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, I had one that was like that, where I'm not going to try to get it on the list. What? Oh, Super Mario Maker 2. I love Super Mario Maker 2. It would be in my top 5, personal top 5. Super Mario Maker got its flowers. I'm not going to try to do that here. It's unnecessary. It's like what we did. It's like what you did with Final Fantasy 14. You waited till Shadowbringer. We already did that with 1. I'm good with 2 not making it. Give me a second here, and I'll get up the podcast producers.
Get up the producers.
Apex Legends.
What's that, Christian?
Was this year?
Yeah. Wasn't this year, 2019?
I guess that's right. Let's see if somebody in community brings it up, then we can. That's interesting. Man. It's been 5 years of Apex Legends, so.
Let's see. Let's go here with Jackie G, who says a Plague Tale Innocence. Have you ever played the Plague Tale games, Mike?
No, it didn't really look like my jam, I gotta be honest.
Yeah, I'm a blue sky and gaming kind of guy, and a game about a plague and rats is usually going to be the kind of thing that pushes me away, although I do think it looks cool in a lot of ways. Dan Fiasco mentions one that I'm glad it didn't take long to get to this one. Control. I like Control a lot. I didn't beat it, but I enjoyed almost all the time that I was playing it. It felt to me the entire time like just a really good, solid 8 out of 10. That's where I am with Control. Like just so many good ideas. I think about the objects of power all the time. I think that some of the powers you get where she's like jumping up and through the air and stuff is really cool. 8 out of 10 for me. That's where I'm at with that game. I don't know. How about you?
I think I'm similar. I do want to go back because I did.
Same. I bet I'm going to like it more the second time. Even.
Yeah, I really do. Especially after playing Alan Wake 2. I really want to go back to Control.
Nick Turbo says Resident Evil 2, which absolutely agree with that. Let's see.
All right. Explain this picture to
so
the
Joyce has a picture, and they're choosing Outer Wilds, and it's a picture of the Talos Principle in one door and blood leading out of it. Then The Witness with the door open, blood leading out of it. Then Return to the Obra Dinn with the door open and blood leading out of it. And then Mike Minotti is the Grim Reaper knocking on the door of the Outer Wilds, which I also have this fear, everybody. This is what.
Look, I'll say right now, I'll let you have the Outer Wilds. All right, you can have that one this time.
If the first one survives,
that's really good.
That's hilarious. Yeah, fuck those games. Actually,
to be fair, I don't. Talos Principle. I have nothing on that. Did you play the Talos Principle? Not like it or anything?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
but I'll still take responsibility for murdering it.
The Witness and Return to the Obra Dinn are classics. Ali Marico Cerveza Cristal says Shadowbringers.
One brings shadow, one brings the light. Two-tone echoes tumbling through time. Ah, the walk his long
Did you mute him?
I
out,
did.
angels bathing.
Oh, he's still going. Shit.
Did you mute him, Sean?
I don't have the power
Maybe.
to mute him.
Oh, Sean! Wow.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be very pissed at what he has to say about the next game.
I believe that based on that and what I'm looking at, this must be Devil May Cry 5.
That's where Dante does a Michael Jackson inspired dance when he gets a weaponized fedora.
Wow,
the
well,
game
so
that
random.
Mike gave a 7 out of 10.
So random.
Well, so random.
Oh,
So
Jesus,
wacky.
Mike.
Funny, wacky man.
It's a good game. It's a 7 out of 10.
You're saying that Devil May Cry is the equivalent of that meme where the woman has like lettuce on her head and like, oh, look at her, she's so random.
Look, I didn't say this during the Tekken 8 finale. I felt a little bit of the same about that. There's something about it that is a little bit.
Okay, now.
I'm sorry. I like it. It's a little dumb. I'm sorry.
This guy is lame.
I'm sorry. It's a little dumb.
And I quote, "This game will never become an action game classic." Meanwhile, one of the only scores on Metacritic below a 90.
We'll see what people think in 10 years. We'll see.
I think you're probably going to be wrong in 10 years based on what I know about the Devil May Cry fans. Jamie H1224 says Astral Chain. This is the Switch game I haven't played that I am the most curious to spend time with.
I was liking it, but again, it was pretty talky for a game that should not have been focusing on story because it didn't have much to say or entertain there. The combat was fun, though. Man, this character just looks like Chie in this screenshot, by the way. I didn't know Chie was in Astral Chain. Maybe I will go back to it.
There you go. Oh, man, the Rebirth Wolf says Tetris 99. God.
Was that this year? Man, we gave Tetris Effect to love, I think, just last year.
Yeah.
Much as I love Tetris 99, I think Tetris Effect is still the Tetris for me.
Yeah, probably. Tetris 99 is great, though. 2-times champ Beefhammer says Kingdom Hearts 3. It's
There's
just
the Zeta Flare moment.
The most powerful wizard in the history of all mankind.
Yeah, I think some Final Fantasy character might have passed them up. I forget, but in my heart, this kills Donald. Spoilers. This move's so powerful that Donald fucking dies after using it, and he kills a person. He kills one of the many Xehanorts, but then everyone else fucking dies. So there's time travel shenanigans.
Let's see here. Dr. Ryan says Control.
There it is.
Absolutely. Randomly Rossi says Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Always Be Clothing / Corgi says Mortal Kombat 11. Which
best DLC characters, I think, of any of them. Incredible stuff they added here.
Yeah, that's the actual actor that played.
Carrie
Zach in the movies.
Yeah. So you had that. Cool. Yeah, you got RoboCop and Rambo, Terminator. Just a lot of fun stuff there. I know. Especially amongst the fighting game community, I agree. Like the gameplay isn't the best of all the new Mortal Kombat games, but it's a very good looking game. Might still be the best looking of the Mortal Kombats.
Adam Juice says Fire Emblem Three Houses. Choco Bop says The Outer Worlds. Another game where I'm like, that's like an 8 out of 10, sometimes a 7 out of 10 for me. A game that is has a lot of good stuff going for it. It just never got over the hump to be like, oh, this is a classic game for me.
I know exactly what you mean. Like, and I enjoyed basically being able to play another Fallout style game from Obsidian. Yes, it's a lot, and it feels exactly like that if that's what you're looking for. But there's nothing about that like really stuck with me in the way a Fallout 76 did.
Yeah, I think it just doesn't quite sing. It like does a lot of stuff right. It just doesn't quite sing. Grubbagool, pretty good. Nice. Says Cadence of Hyrule, which is a very
fun game.
Tell you what, great soundtrack, just an unassailable soundtrack, so good. I listen to that all the time. Still, the game itself is the one where I'm like, I like it, I just don't love it.
Sure. Yeah, I'm glad it exists and it was a fun playthrough.
Exactly. Villain Max says Fire.
I always say Fallout 76 when I mean Fallout New Vegas. Damn it. Thank you, Benji Bob. I'm always doing that.
Villain Mac says Fire Emblem Three Houses. Lenny Cool Dick Denver says Bob.
Wait a second. Dorothea with that hat. Wait, what is it with me and hats? Because I remember in the time skip, she doesn't have the hat anymore. And I was kind of like Andy in Toy Story 2. I don't want to play with you.
It's because he's bald, right?
Yeah, maybe
Right.
with the hats. They're
I
the
don't
hat.
know. No, I've always liked hats. I don't know. Doesn't she look good in her hat?
She looks very cute.
Yeah, she does.
She looks very
You're not
cute.
wrong.
Yes, absolutely. Lenny Cool Dick Denver says Baba Is You, which I was hoping someone would bring up.
This.
It's really good. It is so. Mike, you know how like the witness like just fit with me, and I was like, "Oh, this is my puzzle game," and I'm doing all these puzzles on my own, no help. I don't want help. I'm gonna solve these for everybody else. Baba Is You is the one that made me feel very stupid a lot of times.
Oh no.
It's like a game where you kind of like code the rules of the game by moving around the blocks in the world. So like when you say Baba Is You, that means you the player are playing as Baba, but you can like put something else like as Baba, go move something there in front of the is, like Rock Is You, and now you're playing as the Rock, and you can move the Rock. It's figuring out what you need to do.
Fun.
It is. It is
good.
awesome. It is an awesome
I should
idea.
play
It's
this
really
game.
fun. It is worth playing. It made me feel stupid after a while. I think it's one where I need to go back to it and give it another shot. I have like nothing against it. Like that's not even fair. I love it. Just made me feel stupid.
Let me ask you something right now. Just popped in my head, and I think we kind of talked about this before. This is 5 years ago now. All of these games.
Yeah.
You know what 5 years used to mean in terms of the difference of what the gaming industry
These
was
games
like.
feel like they came out yesterday.
Yes, exactly. And I know I don't want to make this a bigger discussion, but there's all this talk about how the most played games are like games from 10 years ago. That was just something that couldn't happen during like the 90s because everything changed so much. Of course, people were playing the new things. So
yep. But then
this is just where we're at.
But then at a certain point, it's like you get Grand Theft Auto 5, you get you get Red Dead Redemption, you get Last of Us. Games aren't going to look much better than that, and then you get all these games that's like, yeah, you can play this forever. And like Call of Duty is the same every year in a lot of ways. Eventually, that just kind of happens across the board. Yeah, here we are. It's not too surprising. And if like Sekiro were to come out today unchanged, people wouldn't blink an eye. It would still be considered for Game of the Year. And that was Corley Pooh's pick, by the way, is Sekiro. Input name here is this Final Fantasy Shadowbringer? Is that
Shadowbringer?
Is that weirdo you guys like?
That's Emmett Self.
Yeah.
And he is probably the best Final Fantasy character ever.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got input's got him saying, "Mikey, remember that we once lived." Oh God! Oh, the final fight. Oh, it's so good. God, I'll never this game basically has like a Portals from Avengers Endgame moment. And it's so good. It's so hype. It's so hype. Dare I say it? It's hype. It's fucking hype.
That's so hot, Mike. Doomino Crossing says Luigi's Mansion 3 and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Both games I'm a huge fan of. Layers says Fire Emblem Three Houses. Mr. Bowler says Control. Take him behind the sauna with an axe.
I was so happy I played Control just so I could like recognize the janitor when he showed
yes,
up. And I went to, it's like, hey, yeah.
Yes.
Adi.
Yes. God, he rules. Screaming Mad, it says Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, a very good video game. And
it's very good.
Is that
one of the first games I played on my
Travis
Steam Deck,
Kelce
actually.
in there?
Is that Travis Kelce? Who's fun? Oh,
Stretch Real. Who is it? The universe name?
Oh, I see. Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Because they would have been on the Madden cover that year, I'm sure. Ace Combat 7 is great. My favorite part about Ace Combat 7, other than it being a really fun game, is there's a scene where a dog is sitting next to the president, and it's just a JPEG of a dog. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
What a good game.
Let's fucking go.
Flobotron says, I was waiting for someone to bring this one up as well. Disco Elysium, a game I played for several hours and really enjoyed, but kind of I fell off before I really got into it, I feel like. So I feel wrong trying to put it on the list personally.
Yeah, this is one like Outer Wilds. I have not played it. Feel very bad about that. I should definitely do it at some point here.
I'm curious how you'll feel about it.
People love this game. People who like this game love this game.
It's like because it's kind of like grimy. I'm like wondering I wonder if like you're gonna jive with its like.
Yeah, I mean, I could get with that sometimes. It depends. I don't know why Cyberpunk's specific griminess really threw me off so much.
This is more interesting than that, at least.
It seems more interesting. Yeah. Is this guy doing running around, jumping and giving a double bird as he's falling? That's great.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
God, I think he's about to run into a lady in a wheelchair.
What is it? So like Sean's taking shots an RPG of all time, but it's almost all dialogue trees, right? kind of a game. It's like there's combat.
It's dice rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, and you'll see the dice rolls on screen and stuff in the bottom corner.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, a lot of it is dialogue, but the dialogue is almost like the combat. Basically, is how I would describe it.
Man, I just noticed we have like half these to go. We're at 11. Let's go.
Teriyaki Blue says Slay the Spire. I've never played it. I will try to correct that eventually.
Yeah, that's another one. Sorry.
Hosp says What the Golf. I like What the Golf. It's one I've not thought about much after playing it though. Chaos Buckaroo says this is Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yep.
Tommy Pencil says Disco Elysium. This is one of the best early things. Honestly, Mike, get to this point where the main character talks to the kid with the potty mouth. And if you like it at that point, you're going to like the game, I think.
Cool.
Dr. Lynch says the Division 2.
I do like the Division 2, actually. I thought of a lot of the looter shooters that weren't Destiny anyways, I thought Division 2 was a lot of fun. It's a game I wish I actually played more of. I always had a good time when I was in that one.
Mike, look at the screen. Ooh, You want to play the hit game Outer Wilds by Mobius Digital Games.
Trust me, I agree. I do, man. I really do now for some reason.
So for some reason, I'm suddenly very hungry for Outer Wilds by Mobius Digital Games. Weird. Weisman says Untitled Goose Game. I was wondering if someone would bring this up as well. The DICE Game Awards Game of the Year.
You thought such a little bit of derision there, Jeff?
Not really. I'm glad that game developers like a game like this. To me, that's fun. But it wasn't my game of the year. It's a fun game to play around kids. I had a really good time doing that. Oh man, Beautiful Zoob says The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, a game that I feel better about every single day. Honestly,
yeah, it was fun. I liked the art style a lot, and Link's Awakening is just a very good video game.
Yep. Zoomer says Obsidian's Best, The Outer Worlds. Let's see. The Razzle Jazzle says The Tourist. I think I played this for a little bit. I didn't really get it, and then I don't think I know this one. This is the one that runs at 8K on your consoles or whatever.
Oh shit!
I remember that.
That's a lot of Ks.
Yeah. Days in Man says Days in Man 2 says Outer Wilds. Oh, Matt in the Rare West says Ape Out. This is such a good pick up and play game. If you want a good game like to shut your brain off, everybody, and just play on your Steam Deck, Ape Out would rule. You just got to make sure you play it with the speakers turned up. Bend 7 says Fire Emblem Three Houses. A lot of Fire Emblem Three Houses. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. Spliff Blazinski says, I believe this is Control. Yes, this is definitely Control.
That is Control.
Yeah,
Yes.
Control.
Super Harmon says the Outer Wilds. Octo says top tier adventure game. Get on it, Mike. Tangle Tower Rules.
Don't know this one. I'll have to check it out.
Looks cool.
I'll forget, so remind me later. You'd be like the Captain Toad guy. Remind me every week until I do.
I think at this point, I think there's multiple Captain Toad guys.
Hell yeah.
Breadfish says Baba Is You. Warden Cliff says Judgment, a game I just never really think about, but this is from the Yakuza team.
Yeah, this is basically Yakuza, but with a lawyer, which does sound appealing to me, I have to admit.
Mex says Shadowbringers.
Hell yeah. That poster.
Mitsurugi says Metro Exodus.
I haven't played a single Metro game.
Metro Exodus is probably the one to play. It's a pretty good game. Barf Spackle says The Outer Worlds. Isaac Clark says...
It is fucked up that we had two games come out that year. One was Outer Worlds and Outer Wilds. It confused me for years.
Yep,
now am I pretty good about it.
Yeah, it takes a second for me still, but yes, it trips me up to this day. Isaac Clark says Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, which is disqualified because that's two games. So, sorry.
I was curious if we were going to finally get through a year where new Pokemon generation came out and nobody would nominate it, but Sword and Shield still stuck in there. Well, you know what I like about this game? Is that I guessed the names. That was my favorite
That's
part.
right. You did do that. Yes, that was a good job. Crouching Boomer, Hidden Zoomer says Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, a game I really do like. It's a lot of fun. I agree with my chance. I agree with your criticism though, Mike. It got too talky. Cryorsis says Outer Wilds. Leia, the hottest mess, says Control. God, what a good looking game.
I do like the what do you call that kind of the brutalism? Yeah, the brutalism design of Control. I think it's very fetching.
Yes. Jeremy Biff says Fire Emblem Three Houses. Adam Juice says Fire Emblem Three Houses, and these are all with different gifts of tea time from Three Houses.
That is the most popular pick amongst people.
Yes. T Money OG says Shadowbringers, which I think is the second most popular pick. Wong Gift says Control, which is right there as well, and AI The Somnium Files, which I know has its fans. Hammond of Texas says Mordhau, which I think is one of those like
Chivalry.
Yeah, Chivalry. Exactly. I thought. Yeah. I think it was like the follow up to Chivalry for a lot of people. Clink says Ace Combat 7. Man, I want to play that game again.
Stuff. That's a good picture of Ace Combat. Man,
Yes, it is.
I do kind of want to play some more Ace Combat 7.
I think I just want this as a poster. Big Tony, the Final Fantasy guy, says Fire Emblem Three Houses. A little bit of a curveball there. Vision 49 says The Outer Wilds. Epic Open World then says The Outer Worlds. B says Shadowbringers. Willow Davis goes with, I was wondering if anyone would say Death Stranding.
Okay, one, weird. Two, man, it took a long time for anybody to bring up Death Stranding.
Yeah, I need to go back.
I'm gonna make sure that's this year, man.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Man, it's 2019. It's like 5 years ago. Jesus. Tink said Luigi's Mansion 3. Bench JC says this has got to be Shadowbringers, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah, it is. That's the end of the opening cinematic.
It's a big sword.
Yeah. Oh, remind me when we talk about opening cinematics someday. Shadowbringers was a very good one.
Adam Juice says is this Fire Emblem Three Houses? Yeah.
It says, yes. Well, why? Just because you have your teeth a Devil Knight, you think there's something weird about that?
You're right. That's my bias, and I admit it. Christian says this game still rules. Remnant from the Ashes. I know a lot of people really got on Remnant 2, but people forget Remnant 1 was popping off. People were super into that game when it came out. And then Turbo Sean says Devil May Cry 5.
Mike's a monster.
It's very funny. You have to deal with Mike, the guy that gave it 7.5.
I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. I remember that time being like, is it just me? And then the reviews came out like, oh, it's just me. Hey, look, usually I'm with the crowd. Every once in a while, I guess I have to have some kind of a hot take.
At least you're aware of it on this.
Oh, I'm aware. Trust me. It's fine.
There it is. All right. Okay. I have brought the list back up. Anything you want to add, Mike? Death Stranding.
No, I'm not a big Death
Devil May Cry 5.
Sorry, no. Basically what I learned from this is that I feel really bad about not playing Outer Wilds and Disco Elysium. That's kind of my big takeaways.
I knew I wanted to go back to Disco Elysium. Now I really want to. Hey, no one said Apex Legends, right?
Yeah, no one did bring that. I mean, it's always weird with these games that are just kind of still around that think of them as a 2019 game.
Also, it's the kind of game where like maybe you did play it a lot that year, but then you're kind of just done with it, right? At a certain point, you get done with these games and you put it very hard in the rear view mirror.
It was a good game, and it was one of the. If we're doing like a Mount Rushmore of shadow drops, it would definitely be on that, huh?
Yes. Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, God, that might be the top one. Okay, yeah, and then anything else? Probably not.
Was Anthem this year? Oh God.
Oh, was it really? Jesus. Gears 5 was as well, and no one said that either.
Yeah, see, that's what I was kind of like alluding at with Gears 6. I mean, like people liked Gears 5, but boy, I don't.
People really
have a lot of stickiness.
They really like the DLC. Actually, is what happened.
No.
That DLC came out. People really like that. All right, so I think we will go with Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, Outer Wilds, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, Luigi's Mansion 3, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and River City Girls. That means we have to get rid of 2 of them, right? Yeah, 2. So,
okay.
The one I do feel strongest about is Outer Wilds. That was my game of the year that year.
Strongest about.
Yes, that was my game.
I obviously feel strongest about Shadowbringers.
And I'm okay. The way that Shadowbringers was popped up so frequently, I'm okay.
Oh, you know what?
There. Oh,
we should consider Fire Emblem
Three Houses. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
That
too.
should be consider. We need to get rid of 3.
Yep.
As much as I like Jedi Fallen Order, I don't think it quite hangs.
Yeah, I like it on the list, but I'm fine with it. I'm not. It's not what I'm going to fight for. So I mostly agree then.
And as much as I love River City Girls, I seem to be kind of like, I as much as I like championing this kind of smaller game, it's fine. We don't have to put it on a top 5.
Yeah. That leaves us with Resident Evil 2, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, Luigi's Mansion 3, and Fire Emblem Three Houses, and we have 3 spots left for those 4 games. Okay,
I know that Sekiro is the one we're going to get yelled at the most for keeping off it, but I kind of want to keep it off.
Yeah, I really like Sekiro.
I like it, and it's them doing their thing, and I get like they switch it up in some fun ways. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean it's a different game than their Dark Souls games. But when I look at Resident Evil 2, Luigi's Mansion 3, and Fire Emblem Three Houses, I really do love all those games as well. And I think, if it's our list and it's both you and me, and we both love those three games,
I love those games.
And you love all those three games more than Sekiro, I think we can probably leave off Sekiro. And I'm going to blame you when Tam yells at us.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Yes.
Tam's my best friend. He'll understand.
That's exactly what I thought. So there we go. All right. So then we move up these three games. And now it's just a matter of organizing the order.
Yeah. I think I would put Three Houses maybe last. I don't know if that sounds right to you.
That's where we have it. Yeah, I think so. It's a game that I really like. I wish the tactics were a little bit more dynamic for me.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little muddy looking. Also, that was one thing that I did like in Engage, was how it was brighter, it's more colorful.
Also, the characters had too many feet. They got to go back to Awakening, have fewer feet.
Yeah, exactly. Just stubs.
Just stubs. So that means, as it stands right now, Shadowbringers at number 1, which again I sat them down with 2 for Outer Wilds.
But you're down with it at 1?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean the way that you. Listen, I recognize a game that people feel like so strongly about, and if Final Fantasy 14 has not had its moment yet, right? I don't think we put it on any of these lists.
I mean, that Final Fantasy Shadowbringers is the reason why Final Fantasy 14 is going to be healthy for like at least the next decade. Because that one expansion was so good.
Right. So yes, I'm fine with that at number 1. As long as Outer Wilds is number 2, and then from there, I guess we're talking about Resident Evil 2 at 3 or at 4, with like Luigi's Mansion 3 swapping with it.
Oh man, I could go either way. I tell you what, buddy, you have me in such a good mood. You could figure that one out.
You know what? Let's put Luigi's Mansion 3 up at number 3 as it deserves in the Game Mess canon. Let's go for it. There we go. I like that a lot.
What is this peaceful shit? Like coming to like.
Well, I mean, God, I know how you freaks feel about Shadowbringers. I wish I felt that way about it. I wish I could feel that way about a game.
I had like an ass under my sleeve to say about Shadowbringers for you to put it number 1, and it is that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to deny you your chance.
No, it's okay. In this expansion, they added bunny people to it.
Oh, is this the bunny people expansion?
We did get the bunny people.
Oh, well, that's important to me too, because that just creates great art on websites.
Yeah. And the Rothgar, but whatever. Oh, but yeah, the bunny people. It's funny because like technically to play Shadowbringers, you need to play like 100 hours of like an MMO first, and I'm still like, yeah, that's worth it. Actually, like everything else is good also, but just Shadowbringers is insane.
All right, I am posting this online. Well, Mike, why don't you go ahead and read it one more time for the people?
Best games of 2019. Number 5, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Number 4, Resident Evil 2. Number 3, Luigi's Mansion 3. Number 2 is Outer Wilds. And number 1 is Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringers. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I just got to throw you under the Tam bus real quick. All right, there we go.
You're tagging him immediately.
I tagged him. I just said, please don't let Tam see this. But if he does, it's Mike's fault.
Oh, God.
Okay. Yes. Awesome. I'm happy with this list. God, Outer Wilds rules. That is, there was a company that reached out like, hey, do you want an outdoor television? And I said yes. But it was like weeks later and they never got back to me. I'm like, I should just get one and then play Outer Wilds outside with like a fire going this summer. That sounds so pleasant. But then I should just take my Steam Deck outside and not be a complete jackass about it. All right. You know what we should do? Let's read these final super chats, and then we'll go ahead and talk about what we've been playing. Mike, why don't you read those super chats right now?
Yeah. So the last one we did was the last one from Power Glover. No, I saw that. Yes, it is. Burrito says, here to defend Alone in the Dark. Very much spooky, not scary, like Alan Wake 1. In my opinion, best enjoyed by appreciating the setting / aesthetic and voice acting more than the story. I give it a 75. Hey, at least everybody seems to agree it's better than the last time they tried to reboot Alone in the Dark, right?
Yeah, I think one of the things I heard is like it has like David Harbour, like this relatively big actor, and they like barely use him. I'm like, oh, that's a shame, but I don't know. It's spooky, not scary. Alone in the Dark kind of being like this in its wheelhouse. That sounds fine to me.
Mikey O'Leary says, just to clarify, George Miller directed Babe 2, Pig in the City. He's a mere co-writer in the first Babe film. Is that right?
Me. Yes.
I always thought he was like, okay, interesting. For some reason, I always thought he was also very like much the guy on the first Babe.
Well,
calm down.
No,
you know what?
Writer is still very important.
Am I getting it mixed up with Happy Feet? Is that my problem?
Yeah, he did Happy Feet as well, right?
That's weird that he did Happy Feet.
Well, I just discovered that the other day. That's guy's got one of the craziest careers ever.
Yeah. Fucking
That's
happy feet.
talent. That's raw talent.
It
The
is.
guy
It
don't
absolutely
miss.
is. Yes. No denying it.
Adam Wilson says, congrats, Mitch, on the Twitch partner. I believe Control was released in 2019. Yeah, we got to Control. And thank you so much, Adam. I appreciate it. And then the Uncharted Wolf says, pretending to be Tam here. Grow up, Mike Minotti. Never!
Yeah, I got some bad news for you about that.
Yeah, that's not happening. Jeff, what have you been playing? Aside from Gamera 2000, probably the best thing you played this week, right?
Gamera 2000 is very good, yes. Let's see, what have I been playing? I was playing more Mario Golf, really enjoying that. Played some more Dragon's Dogma 2. Really kind of been pretty busy. It's been hard to like spend a lot of time with games. I've been playing one thing for review, but the Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom is the one that I've been spending the most time with, and it's interesting. It is an N64 collectathon style platformer, kinda, but you play as this little wind-up yellow cab, and it can't jump. Not really. So you drive around this space, and you kind of have to like find your way up, like through the different roads and ramps. And if you hit a ramp, you could do a boost, and then you will boost into the air. And so like there are these jumps built into the world. And then if you get like hit by like one of the bomb characters, you don't really take any damage. You just kind of you flash and you can jump, like it explodes you up into the air. And then once you're up in the air, you can hit the gas and sort of drive through the sky a little bit and try to get to these areas, these other areas of the map. So what it is like manipulating these various mechanics to try to get to hard to reach spaces, so you can collect all the gears in the world and collect all the coins. And then you're using the coins to buy stuff like hats. And it's pretty simple and interesting. And really, what this game is thriving on is its really strong aesthetic. I think the way the car looks when it's moving, and you do a turn and it just throws itself into like a power slide, and it looks so neat. All that stuff really works for me, and it's taken me a second to sort of get my mind to understand the way the game wants me to play. And now that the more I do that, the more I like it. It was just very different for me to be like, this feels like it should be a straight up platformer, and sure, I'm a car, but just give me a button to jump. It's like, well, no, the challenge is how can you drive around this world and sort of decipher it in a way that you can get to these places. And once I sort of gave myself over to that challenge, it started to click in a really strong way. But at the very least, I'm like, hey, an N64 collectathon in 2024. I'm glad that we're getting these from indie developers these days. So yeah, I know you saw this. Do you have any interest in playing it?
I do actually. I actually did just tell you and get a code myself. So I'm gonna check it out at some point also.
Yep. But yeah, I think it's, at the very least, I think it's gonna be one that if people have any affinity for that era of gaming, this is a good one to like check in on and see if maybe it's your jam.
Hey, Jeff, super quick since we're running long, what'd you think of the Tekken 8 story mode?
Tekken 8 story mode was actually, I had a lot of fun with it. I agree with Mike. It's dumb, but I love dumb, and it's Tekken, so I'm expecting dumb. I think all the characters are just idiots, and I love them all being idiots. It feels very Fast and Furious to me is kind of what I want from them. And it was the kind of game where, as I was playing and I was getting a little bit more challenged by the CPU, and I was getting to get some boss characters, it was fun to like engage with the mechanics a little bit more deeply and feel like I was improving a little bit. And I like that. But that's just a cool game that looks cool. And at the very least, I'm like, it doesn't take itself seriously, which makes it a lot easier to have fun with it. Mike, how about you? What have you been playing?
Big thing has been kind of finishing up Persona 3 Reload. I'm in January now, so making a lot of progress there. I have most of my social links done. Not sure if I'm going to be able to finish all of them. I might like miss one or two, which is going to drive me crazy. But that's actually the most I ever completed in a single playthrough. That's kind of one of the fun things here. Like, I've played like a few Persona games. Like, I'm like I've kind of really got it down to a point where it's like, oh, I'm maxing out a lot more of these social links than I ever used to. Like the first time I played Persona 3, like maybe I maxed out 4 or 5. Now it's most of them, and I am like so I'm able to fuse a lot of really powerful personas right now. So go ahead, Christian.
Do you know if it's easier now to max out the social
I'm not sure, because there's maybe because you can buy that computer program that lets you max things out at night if you don't do anything else. So that probably helps. But like I'm being smarter about like making sure I have a persona, the same arcana in my inventory before I talk to people. Or there was like one tip I read that I followed that helps a lot. That is, especially like the first half of the game, until your social stats are maxed out, just do, I'll do all your links in the first half of the day and do your stats in the second half. I think the first time I was playing through it, I was obsessed with getting my intelligence higher because I was worried about passing my midterms or something, and I wasted probably a lot of time just studying in the library, very slowly raising those stats. So it's just a matter of playing these games a lot, and also like knowing like, hey, I can probably clear a whole section of Tartarus in just one day because I know that it's okay to use my soul drops and play it this way and blah blah blah. But man, it has been so good. I think this is absolutely the best Persona experience you can have right now. I get excited to play it every night still.
Real quick, someone from the Twitter said that they subscribed to the Patreon and wanted to say AI the Somnium Files, but they missed out on that. So yeah, shout out to Adam.
Someone else brought that one up too.
Yeah, they did.
Real quick, because I haven't played it. What is it? Do you know?
No.
Well,
it's from the Danganronpa people, I think.
Right.
Or for the
no, it's the 999. Those
something for you to look into.
That's
yeah.
Homer, do you know who invented the hammock?
Wait, what? Dr. Hammock?
Homer, do you know who invented the hammock? I'm sorry. I'm just quoting Hank Scorpio from The Simpsons. No, something for you to look into.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us, Mike. I don't know if we have anything else left to talk about on this episode. Any more super chats, I guess?
I think we are actually good. We're good.
Great.
Thank you, everybody.
In that case, Mikey, what do you got going on this weekend? What do you got? I mean, WrestleMania, I guess, right? Yeah.
WrestleMania Sunday. Hopefully, you're able to make it. I think it's my friend's.
I think I'll be
friend's birthday on Saturday. He wants us to go to some brewery near here we haven't been to yet that he loves. So doing that, pretty busy actually. Maybe streaming tomorrow. Would like to sneak some of that in, especially since the rest of the weekend is going to be busy. Maybe take a small break from Mortal Kombat now that I got this PB. Maybe check something else out tomorrow. We'll see.
I'm looking at Twitter and I'm seeing you want some trends right now. Redfall is trending. I think it's got to be like a year anniversary or something for that game, right?
Yeah, there is a part of like, what's Redfall like now? But I don't know.
Don't say that, then we'll end up doing it on Giant Bomb.
I don't think there's anything to say.
It's pretty like hard tweeting right now.
And then let's see. Lara Croft is trending with Agent 47 and Pikachu. What on earth could that be about?
Somebody released a list like the most iconic video game characters according to this poll, and like Lara Croft was #1 ahead of Mario. So it's not a very accurate. There's no way. It's just a bad
it's that discussing
poll.
film one. I think I blocked them. I blocked discussing film for shit like this. Source: BAFTA. What do the British know about anything? Okay, please don't send this episode to Tam.
Yeah, I was to say it's okay. Yeah, it's getting the Tam heat off of me. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Like blaming all of England for this list.
Mike, do your accent? Do your British accent, Mike? It's your time.
That triangle.
The 15 most iconic video game characters. 15: Crash Bandicoot, Solid Snake, Steve, Pikachu. Pikachu's behind Arthur Morgan, Shadowheart, Kratos, Master Chief, Link, Pac-Man, Sackboy, Sonic. Sonic's number 5. Sonic, Agent 47, Mario, and number 1, Lara Croft.
Look, we love Agent 47, but come on.
Come on.
Insane.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Oh, Sackboy is from an English studio. Come on.
Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
We all come.
That was fast. I know what a clitoris is.